This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
A possible shower 15 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Curious about SAMRI? See inside the cheese grater and meet researchers on Sunday, August 14th. Book now at samri.org.au.
A report is being prepared for the coroner after a motorcycle death on private property. The male rider crashed into a tree at Western Flat yesterday. The 24-year-old from Narracourt passed away at the scene. Free rapid antigen test kits are still available for vulnerable South Australians. From today, SA Health will distribute them at more than 50 collection points as well as PCR clinics. Pharmacies will no longer provide free RATs, with the federal funding wrapping up yesterday. Meantime, senior government sources are confident the latest Omicron wave has now passed its peak. Qantas passengers are not happy after a nationwide computer outage sparked lengthy delays. Travellers were left sitting on planes across the country late yesterday afternoon after an IT glitch grounded flights for around 90 minutes. 12 domestic flights were impacted. Gas prices are expected to remain high well into next year as supply constraints remain an issue. Michael Packey has the details.
Australia's competition and consumer watchdog has been examining soaring gas and electricity prices for the past 6 weeks. The ACCC is expected to hand down its report today following concerns by the federal government some producers had been unfairly inflating their prices. The watchdog is warning households and business gas shortages are likely to persist. Labor is urging producers to look after domestic supply, but concedes gas companies are currently making big money selling the resource overseas.
The latest news poll has been released and Anthony Albanese has recorded the highest satisfaction rating for an incoming Prime Minister. He's well ahead of opposition leader Peter Dutton as preferred PM, 59 to 25. The Albanese government is about to slug beer drinkers in what's tipped to be the biggest increase in prices in more than 30 years. The bad news is expected to be delivered in the Treasurer's budget update in October. The tax hit would see a carton lift in price from 80 cents to $18.80. A Queensland woman will front court today accused of murdering an 8-year-old boy in Rockhampton. Marty Bunyard has the story.
Police officers were called to a home for a welfare check in the early hours of Saturday morning. After arriving, they found the body of a boy inside. A crime scene was established with a 36-year-old woman at the address being taken in for questioning. She was later charged with murder. The child and woman were known to each other. An investigation into the boy's death is still ongoing. The woman remains in police custody and will appear in Rockhampton Magistrates Court today.
Now to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with some good news. Emma McKeown has become the first Australian to win 11 Commonwealth Games gold medals. The 28-year-old surpasses Ian Thorpe, Susie O'Neill and Liesl Jones after taking out the 50-metre freestyle.
It's still Emma McKeown in front. Can she get there? Does she hold on? She's got her 11th. The Queen of the Commonwealth out on her own.
Audio there thanks to Channel 7. Fellow Australians Meg Harris and Shayna Jack finished second and third respectively. Well, Brisbane coach Chris Fagan denies claims the MCG is a monkey on the back the side can't shake. The Lions lost their 11th consecutive match at the G last night, going down to the Tigers by 7 points. Fagan says despite his side's poor record at the venue, it's not something that plays on their mind.
I don't believe in the MCG monkey. It's something that everybody else is talking about. My personal view is that we just haven't won here because we haven't been good enough.
Tigers co-captain Dylan Grimes was subbed out of the match with a bad hamstring injury. 2 other games to wrap up round 20 yesterday with Gold Coast narrow 3-point winners against West Coast, while Essendon belted North Melbourne by 48 points. Well, Max Verstappen has won his 8th race of the Formula One season. The Red Bull driver took out the Hungarian Grand Prix. And Alex de Minaur will hit the court in an hour or so in the final of the Atlanta Open up against local hope Jensen Brooksby. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
3 out of 4 people never hear back from interviews. Shouldn't people matter more than that? Zoom Recruitment.
A possible shower for your Monday, 15. Showers increasing tomorrow, 16. Wednesday, showers and 19. Right now, it's 7 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Credit Union SA Bonus Savings Account. Open your account and you could be rewarded with bonus monthly interest. Consider the T's and C's.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast. Coming up on the program this morning, we are launching the Undie Drive. This is as big as a week as there is in the calendar for 5AA and all of our programs as we raise money for Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre. This has been a wonderful success over the years. We've refined it now down to a fine art, and it's as simple as this. If you want to donate to these magnificent charities, head to 5aaundiedrive.com.au. We'll keep you across all the shenanigans that'll play out over the course of the day very, very shortly. But that is the big headline that kicks us off on this Monday morning. Undie Drive is live, and we await your donations, so we'll talk more about that shortly. Another headline, if you're a beer drinker out there, you might be having to prepare to pay significantly more at the pub. $15 a pint is one suggestion, following an increase to the beer tax being described by the Brewers Association as the greatest in 30 years. We'll speak with the President a little bit later in the morning. And speaking of big bosses, David Koch, the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, Port Adelaide Football Club, will be on the program after 8:30 today. Big morning on the way. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Really excited, in all sincerity, to be kicking the Undie Drive off again. We've come to love it here at 5AA, and every year we get helped out by so many magnificent businesses around town. Overwhelmingly, they're your local South Aussie businesses that really have a connection to the community. None bigger this year than the Turf Farm, who are the principal sponsor. But equally, it's also a bit of a celebration of the generosity of our listeners, because, you know, as good as it is that you get your Cochranes and your Turf Farms and the AHA last year weighing in at a time of great hardship for hospitality with I think from memory it was a $10,000 donation or something last year.
It was extraordinary.
But, you know, Clem from Clemzig, Ethel from Ethelton, it's the little people who chip in a fiver who make it hugely possible too. And we've had people who don't have terribly many coins to rub together, digging deep into what little savings they have. And you think about the cause, and you think about how cold it is, because, you know, doing it in winter is particularly poignant, I think. The idea of being on the bones of your backside, so much so that for whatever reason, big drivers of it are mental illness, job loss, and sadly, and this is where Catherine House comes in, domestic violence. As the new member for Boothby said in her maiden speech last week, Louise Miller-Frost, who used to work at St Vinny's, people can find themselves homeless in a real hurry. It can just happen. It can happen faster and in a completely sort of unforeseen way. So it's a hugely important issue.
It absolutely is. And you think every time we've covered a story in the first 6 months of this year, which has been a lot about cost of living, the cost of living vortex is really a vicious one, because drawn into it is not only the fact that there's less money that people have in their pockets to perhaps give to charity. So every cost of living story we talk about is probably, for a lot of people, the discretionary spend that goes out the window is, I'm not going to be able to give to a charity. So the charities are doing it tougher. But at the same time, every cost of living story is about someone else who probably couldn't pay the bill, who's living in a car, who doesn't have a roof over their head. So there's actually, at a time when there's less money going to charities, there's more people relying on the charities. And that's the vicious nature of the economic cycle we're in at the moment, which is why today's hugely important. It's not just today, it's this week, and it's an attempt to break that cycle. Let's get some money into the coffers of these magnificent charities, because there are more people out there that rely on them right now.
We got some big names to kick it off as well, including one that I'm very excited about after 7 o'clock. It's somebody who has done a lot herself to promote the great work of charities such as Catherine House. So we'll be really cranking it up after 7. I'll tell you what, one of the surefire paths to poverty, Will, seems to be the idea of shouting your mates around at your local. That is the most unbelievable cultural shift. And you know, the thing that really worries me, and I know this with some of my mates, a few times when we've gone to catch up over the last year or so, we've sort of said, should we go to like the Big Shed? Or should we go to Pirate Life? Or should we meet at a pub in town? And I've got friends who said, look, it's just too expensive. Let's just sit around in the backyard. Let's buy a slab from the local drive-thru and just sit around in the backyard and drink. Because going to the pub, like the idea that in Australia of all countries, in a city like ours that's got a pub has got pretty much a pub on every corner in the square mile, the idea that going to the pub has become an elite pursuit.
Well, clearly. And the thing about this is not your run-of-the-mill 2022 cost of living story that's the byproduct of inflation. This is the biannual indexation of a tax. So this one's an artificial increase in the price. This is not because it's harder to get the raw materials or labour's cost more.
No.
And they're just trying to recover costs like every other industry. This is self-imposed pain. And remember, one of my favourite statistics that will say that I think is very important in this, because sometimes these taxes are sort of pegged as this idea that, they're trying to encourage a healthy lifestyle. Alcohol consumption has never been lower.
Yeah.
Never been lower. It peaked in 1974.
But what is the argument for it? Is it an economic decision or is it a health-based decision? Is this like a sort of Kevin Rudd with his nanny state Alka-Pops tax? Is it health motivated to make people drink less beer?
I think it is. I think it is. There's no economic argument. Well, it's not like fuel excise. I don't think they're paving roads with the beer indexation.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it? We were talking last week about the return of cans at the footy. And I made the point that in the 1970s, they brought in a rule that you could only take one slab per person into the game. I mean, Australia's not awash with booze anymore, the way it was. We've moved... The Don's party era is over, is it not? No one's
completely
getting hammered the way they were in 1972.
Behaviours have totally changed. So just to put some meat on the bone of this story, so the tax will rise from $53.59 per litre of alcohol to $55.73. A keg jumps by $4, a carton by about 80 cents. Now you combine that with cost of labour and all those other things that we did talk about that are actually organic inputs into the tax equation. Yeah, $15 a pint suddenly sounds pretty reasonable. Not reasonable, but believable.
So if you go out with three friends and you do the right thing, you're not driving, and I'd say this is a pretty standard level of consumption for a night out with some mates. Say you have 4 pints. So that's $60 each just for your drinks. That's ridiculous.
No food, no cab.
And I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people have more than 4 pints if they're having a big catch-up.
If they can afford it.
It's just crazy.
What do you think, folks? 8223 You can text us on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line as well, 0448 08 1395. Is it an impost that's beyond the pale? Certainly given where we're at in the world at the moment. We'll be speaking with the president of the Brewers Association, the CEO of the Brewers Association, John Preston, after 8 o'clock today. Take a short break and we'll get into the news headlines next.
Who am I? I can be a physio in the morning, or maybe a beautician. In the afternoon, I could be a fashion retailer. I even run a travel agency at night.
She's none of these. She's a scammer, and her specialty is businesses. Scammers might hack your emails, imitate your invoices, and get your customers to pay into their account instead of yours. But they can't if your customers pay using new tech PayID. Contact your bank about PayID for your business. Australian banks, working to protect you.
Yep, you got white ants.
Oh, bummer. So you'll get rid of them then?
See this badge? It says Pest Inspector, not Pest Exterminator.
So hang on, I need to pay another guy to do what you just did, but they can actually fix the problem?
Pretty much.
House Inspect Australia does pest inspections too. They're licensed to track pests and licensed to kill pests.
Show-offs.
Protect your biggest asset with a combined building and pest inspection from House Inspect Australia. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Life's a beach at Southside Beach.
Hi, Crystal here from Southside Suzuki. We're excited to be building a brand new dealership just for you. Don't let our renovation stop you from visiting us, as there's never been a better time to buy a new Suzuki. It's business as usual with great deals on a range of models, including the sleek and economical Baleno from just $19,990 drive away. View the range online or drop by Southside Suzuki today.
Life's a beach, Southside Suzuki.
LVD 2009.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to not deal with organising all the trades? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? 2. The largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers. Plus, we can manage the installation and all sub-trades at a fixed price. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
What is small business? It's people you know, things you need. Small business supports workers, suppliers and families right across South Australia. So go on, go out and support small business. A message from the Government of South Australia.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Whatever you're saving for, get there quicker with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Please consider the T's and C's.
16 minutes after 6. Undy Drive is live. 5AAUndyDrive.com.au is the place to go to for your donations. Now, I have been told that, in fact, I've spotted it. I wasn't meant to have seen it because you don't want any sort of meddling. You don't want any meddling in the Undy Drive and the sanctity of it. But I've seen that there is the Challenge Bowl back this year. It's back. I don't know what's in the Challenge Bowl, but I know it's
scary music.
I know it represents pain for all of us here. Once we reach various milestones on the road to the Undy Drive,
not just pain, it also means humiliation.
Completely,
yeah,
complete and utter humiliation.
There's ways you can avoid it. I demonstrated that last year where there was this. It's a strong word, but I'll use it anyway. Disgusting stat deck that had been drawn up. Where I had to admit publicly, after decades of railing against it, that I finally accepted that Norwood were the legitimate winners of the 1978 Grand Final. And I paid...
Yeah, you refused.
I paid $500 myself out of my own pocket.
That was
not to say it.
This is the twisted beauty of the Undy Drive. Doesn't matter how the donations come in.
The Sturt Football Club donated $1,000 to prevent me from saying it. Then I think Jason Killick, from memory, the club president, he donated some of his own money as well. But then Phil Gallagher, remember, Gags rang in.
Yes.
Just after 7 o'clock. The man who obviously kicked the winning goal.
Well, we don't know what pain awaits, but the Challenge Bowl, I just know it's knocking around out in the office somewhere. So all sorts of humiliations being devised that will help aid Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre over the course of the week. Few texts on the Automasters text line. Graham from Prospect says 4 pints, I'd be dead. Please don't do that, Graham, because we appreciate your texts. Jim in Golden Grove says, guys, how about the government get brave and start taxing drinks based on alcohol content? Surely we should be encouraging people to consume drinks with lower alcohol content. I actually think that's precisely what this tax is, Jim. It's a tax on the alcohol. So that's why...
Well, it does already work like that, though.
It does, that's right.
Yeah, that's why spirits cost so much.
Yes.
Spirits cost a mozza.
So we're talking about it in the context of what it'll mean to beers. But it's a tax on it's $55.73 per litre of alcohol. Alcohol now it's what 4% odd of a beer, for example. So 4% of 375 mils is your taxed component, basically.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some of the news headlines this morning. Emma McKeon has made history again and become the first Australian to win 11 Commonwealth Games gold medals. The 28-year-old surpasses Ian Thorpe, Susie O'Neill and Liesl Jones, taking out the 50 freestyle this morning. Already Australia's greatest Olympian. It kind of feels like a boxing exercise to become our greatest Commonwealth Games.
11 gold medals.
11, yeah. She's probably got more to come as well.
How big's a mantelpiece at home?
What do you do with them all? You start giving them out birthday gifts,
yeah, probably, yeah, exactly. He's keeping a box somewhere.
Anthony Albanese has recorded the highest satisfaction rating for an incoming Prime Minister. The latest news poll has Mr Albanese well ahead of opposition leader Peter Dutton as preferred PM, 59 to 25.
That's staggering, isn't it?
It's the highest approval rating after
That's
a PM's
Sorry, you keep going.
First election victory since polling began in 85, so since Hawke really set the level. Labor leads the coalitions by the two-party preferred measure 56-44, and the Prime Minister hopes it leads to successful policymaking.
Our priority this term is the recognition of First Nations people in our Constitution. Our history didn't begin in 1788.
Yeah, that's obviously the big fight that lays ahead now.
Those numbers are really bad for Peter Dutton. And I know there's the Dutton who exists on Twitter who isn't the villain that all the lefties make him out to be. You know, that he's probably the most reviled figure in the Liberal Party by progressive people, and some of the things that get said about him are absolutely hysterical. But to be that far behind that early on, it does suggest that there's a bit of mainstream sort of ambivalence towards him. Don't you think?
Oh, I think if you're putting it kindly, he's got some work to do.
Yes. Yeah. He's got that sort of Undertaker vibe that needs to sort of lighten himself up a bit, brighten himself up a bit.
We have new leaders of the Australian Medical Association. Dr. Omar Khorshid and Dr. Chris Moy have both finished their 2-year term as president and vice president, respectively. We salute you, Dr. Moy.
We love Dr.
Regular
Moy.
on 5AA Breakfast, great explainer.
Yeah, he's a cracking bloke. We love having Dr. Moy on.
The election for new leaders was held at the AMA's national conference yesterday. The new president, Professor Steve Robson, is a senior specialist in obstetrics and gynecology. He's been in practice in Canberra for 20 years. The vice president, Dr. Danielle McMullen, is a GP in Sydney's Inner West and is an immediate past president of the New South Wales AMA. National housing values have fallen for a third consecutive month by 1.3%. The rate of decline is expected to gather more pace due to higher interest rates and the impact on household balance sheets. CoreLogic Research Director Tim Lawless says 5 of the 8 capital cities have recorded a month-on-month decline in July.
Declines were fairly broad-based around the country. Sydney, for example, was down 2.2% over the month, Melbourne down 1.5%. The only capital cities where we didn't see housing values fall were Adelaide and Perth, although both of those cities are clearly losing some momentum.
It's interesting. There's a really good detailed report as to how and where prices are falling. They're falling so much more markedly in the capital cities, but regional areas are holding up, in some cases still going up. And part of it is the post-COVID revision people are making of their lives where they're just saying, I don't want to live in a huge city anymore. Did you see the statistics? Yeah. The number of people who moved away from Melbourne in the last 12 months, 30,000 people. 30,000, I think it's 30,600. 30,000 people left Melbourne.
I like Melbourne a lot more than you do, but my most recent experience there, that is the least surprising statistic I've ever heard. There is no way in hell you can pay me enough to move there.
I just think Melbourne is like a big, unpleasant place. I don't think there's any particular natural beauty about it at all. I think the Yarra is basically a big open drain. You compare that to the harbour, and it's like comparing Rio de Janeiro to Lagos.
See, I like that. I mean, more. It's less about the aesthetic than it is just the practicality. To me, it feels now like moving to Melbourne would be in my mind akin to moving to Hong Kong or New York City. Now, it's in terms of it's a lot.
Well, the point I was trying to make was like Sydney is every bit as logistically challenging and expensive, probably marginally more expensive, to be honest, than Melbourne. But at least you get the benefits of living in Sydney from it. I just don't know what the benefits of living in Melbourne are. I just can't see what they are.
Top of 15 today with a 1 mil of rain, but the rain is the story for the rest of the week. Top of 16 tomorrow and up to 8 mils. Top of 19 Wednesday up to 5. Top of 17 Thursday and again 8 mils of rain. And you're thinking, well, it's got to ease off. No. Friday, 15 and up to 15 mils of rain. That's significant rainfall every day this week. It continues into the weekend. 6 mils on Saturday. You don't usually see a forecast like this in Adelaide with 5 consecutive days of significant rainfall. Then on Sunday it eases off a little bit, top of just 13, so it'll be cool but reasonably dry. There is so much sport to talk about. I'm glad Tom Wren's job is to do it because I wouldn't know where to start. Gliderol Garage Doors adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Well, we usually do our winners and losers, so let's start with a big positive from the weekend and perhaps the most recent one. Emma McKeown becomes the most successful Commonwealth Games athlete of all time, 11 gold medals, won the 50-metre freestyle. The Aussies filled the positions 1, 2 and 3. But the big story is McKeown, so outstanding achievement from her. Hats off. She passes a trio of greats, Liesl Jones, Susie O'Neill, Ian Thorpe, so some pretty illustrious company that she goes past. So well done to her.
Absolutely.
The other big winner from the weekend, I think, is Jess Stenson, formerly Jess Trengove, South Aussie. Sister, of course, to Jack Trengove, who played at Melbourne and Port Adelaide, and she won the gold in the marathon, which is
sensational,
a brutal event. And to do that, just outstanding. So well done to Jess Stenson. Delightful. But the Aussies, not surprisingly, leading the medal tally, particularly with swimming so early in the program. We're dominating, so that's good to see. Another big positive from the weekend, Will, and you called it and called it brilliantly. The Crows in what was just a really encouraging,
great,
enlightening performance for the future. And
4 quarters.
And I think everyone just really rapt to see some of those young kids stand up in a big game.
Superb.
And it was predicated on a substantial shift by Matthew Nicks. Full credit to him. He went, you know what we're doing this week? We're playing every single centre bounce and around the ground. 2/3 of that midfield unit are going to be guys that have played under 50 games. Oh, that was just sensational. Ben Keys has been the second most prolific and probably second best midfield for Adelaide all year. And he said, no, you're playing as a permanent forward today. Didn't attend a single centre bounce. I thought it was just superb. And the setup looked significantly better. And they played their best game of the year. And Darcy Fogarty, as I said in the call, provided multiple highlights. Now he's doing this almost every week where you go, you're missing out if you don't go to the footy to watch. If you weren't there to see him shrug 3 tackles and kick that goal, you missed out. And it just felt great to go, there's something for all those, I don't know how many went on the day, but to go to work today and tell their friends, oh, I was sitting in that pocket or I was on this side. You haven't had that conversation a lot as an Adelaide fan in recent times, and it was just sensational.
I was thinking watching the game that I, and I'd say also other people, owe Darcy Fogarty an apology. Because I reckon about round 3 this year, we said on air the Darcy Fogarty experiment's over.
I thought he was done.
Yeah, I think the consensus among Crows fans was, and a lot of it seemed to be application, like he just didn't seem to be putting in enough. But that guy has clicked, and you're right, Will. He's the kind of guy that you buy a ticket, to go and see him play. Like that hanger, and it's so good with Tex. Tex is playing brilliantly, but clearly he's in his autumn years. Bring on the fog.
Bring on the fog, and he wears the right Guernsey number, doesn't he? Number 32.
Yeah.
You know, he plays an exciting brand, so he's going to be good for a long time. And I think you're right. The penny's dropped, and he realises now he can continue to win. Another gold medal for the Australian 4x200 metre freestyle relay. It's just happened. It's a bit like that Simpsons episode where every time America won a gold medal, Krusty has to hand out free Krusty burgers.
Oh my God, what have I done?
I'm going to spit at every 50th burger. I like those odds.
It was the 84 Los
that's
Angeles
right,
Olympics.
because
Even Russia didn't turn up.
Also, the women's football, the final at the Euros between England just won it. 90,000 fans, or just under, attended that match.
You know, watching the celebration in the streets afterwards, where it's I've never seen anything like it. I don't think we are prepared how big the Women's World Cup's going to be next year when it's here in Australia. I don't think we get it yet. The London is awash. You know, it's being celebrated as, rightfully, the first major trophy since 1966, and it's being celebrated as the first major trophy since 1966. The scenes are unbelievable.
Yeah, and they scored the winner in extra time as well. Big loser, just before I go, Port Adelaide. It's been one of those seasons, so frustrating. They were close again. They're good enough, they're just not good enough for long enough, and that's the story of their season, so very disappointing on the weekend again.
Can I throw in one extra loser who should actually be the top of the list? The Crows woman who was saying what she said about Adam Sard.
Absolutely.
Biggest loser, don't go to the football ever again.
Yep.
Don't sully the great name of our club.
We might talk about that in a moment. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Tom.
Gliderol Garage Doors. Check them out. New Timberlook Native Series sectional doors. Gliderol.com.au.
This is RB Day with more tales from the bedroom, thanks to Supercraft Bedding. Supercraft Bedding has been recycling before it was on trend. Did you know that we'll pick up your old mattress when we deliver your new one and have the old one recycled? The other day, Tim picked up a 45-year-old mattress that was made by us. Sure, it had seen better days, but what an innings. This is RB Day for Supercraft Bedding, building better beds at 42 Richmond Road, Keswick.
Hey neighbour, have you got a new mower?
Yep, it's a Toro. Just like the brand they use on the legendary St Andrews and Wimbledon.
Wow.
It adapts to my walking speed thanks to the personal pace feature, and it even recycles the clippings back into the lawn to restore its nutrients. Oh, I've got to get mowing. The match is about to start. Get the home ground advantage with Toro Walk Power Mowers. Available at Bunnings Warehouse and your local Toro dealer. You can count on Toro.
What makes you curious? Curious minds change the world. The bright, curious minds at SAMRI are daring to ask brave questions and might just have the answers. SAMRI is where a nuclear physicist from Denmark can have coffee with a cancer researcher from Darwin to save the life of a mother from Darlington. And who knows what next? So get curious. Get into it at samri.org.au.
What was it Auntie Pam would say? When I arrive at the pearly gates, I want to pull up with nothing left in the tank and also sideways.
Aunt Pam was a character. You could hear her laugh from miles away.
I'll never forget weekends at that beach shack of hers.
And her interesting decorations.
You know, I've never met anyone who could be so late all the time. She managed to show up on time today, though. 10 points.
See you around, Aunt Pam.
A unique life deserves a distinctive funeral. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower and 15 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Curious about Samri? See inside the cheese grater and meet researchers on Sunday, August 14th. Book now at samri.org.au.
A new free wrap program is being rolled out in SA today. Concession card holders will now be able to pick up their free rapid antigen tests from more than 50 existing collection sites, which also will continue to distribute the free rats to close contacts. The Malinauskas government is providing up to 10 free rats over a 3-month period to eligible concession card holders with a maximum of 5 per month, after the federal scheme wrapped up yesterday. A motorcyclist has died following a crash on private property in the state's southeast. The 24-year-old's bike went into a tree at Western Flat yesterday. Police are preparing a report for the coroner. An IT glitch is delaying Qantas flights interstate this morning. Sydney flights have been cancelled, with passengers having to be rebooked onto later flights.
They haven't mentioned, rescheduling us or anything like that. I'm bewildered. The flight was to leave at 8:15. It was JQ 507, and they sent this text through at 3:48 this morning.
Australians can expect to soon be paying more at the pub, with beer drinkers facing the biggest tax increase in 3 decades. Mia Glover has more.
From the rising cost to petrol and then lettuce, now the cost of living pressures are about to hit Australian beer. You could soon be paying up to $15 for a pint of beer at your local, with the nation's beer tax to jump by 4%. That's the biggest increase seen in around 30 years. The Brewers Association is urging the Albanese government to act and include some relief in the upcoming October budget. They say there's definitely a strong case for the relief. The government says it will, of course, look at it, but isn't making any commitments at this stage.
1 in 5 teenagers believe energy drinks are good for them. The research questioned almost 4,000 high school students about the high caffeine, high sugar drinks and found that boys were more likely to drink them. The drinks are linked to headaches, stomach aches, insomnia, fatigue, irritation and hyperactivity. An injectable antipsychotic is being added to the pharmaceutical benefit scheme to help the 200,000 Australians living with schizophrenia. The dose can be given to those who are eligible every 6 months. Psychiatrist Dr. Samir Ibrahim says it will offer those with the complex brain disorder more freedom.
Taking tablets every day, this requires a certain compliance. But when we have people treated by an injection only twice a year, that's a massive leap into the future.
US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has begun a tour of Asian countries. There is some doubt over whether she'll visit Taiwan. China has warned of consequences for US support of the contested island's sovereignty. Ms Pelosi's office says her trip will include visits to Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea and Japan. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
What's happening in Birmingham this morning, Tom Wren?
Well, more gold in the pool literally in the last few minutes, Mel. It's great news. The Aussies claiming that gold medal in the women's 4x200 metre freestyle relay. Now, that comes after Emma McKeown became the most successful Com Games athlete of all time after winning her 11th gold with a win in the 50 metre freestyle event. Let's switch now to football. The Crows and Port Adelaide will recover today following their matches on the weekend. The Powers' finals hopes are now officially over after going down to Collingwood by 6 points, while the Crows put in arguably their best performance of the season with a 29-point upset win over Carlton. Meantime, Richmond co-captain Dylan Grimes faces an anxious wait for the result of scans on an injured hamstring. Grimes was subbed off as the Tigers beat the Lions by 7 points at the MCG last night. Coach Damien Hardwick says the outlook for Grimes isn't looking positive.
Yeah, it's a little bit challenging at the moment and emotional for all of us because he's such an important player to our fabric of our footy club. So, look, we hope it's not too severe, but we've got our fingers crossed at this stage.
The Women's Euro final between England and Germany at Wembley Stadium has drawn the largest crowd for any men's or women's UEFA football match. 87,192 people were on hand in London to watch Chloe Kelly score in extra time, securing a 2-1 win for England.
And it goes, Bronze right, got the touchdown, Kelly's in there, the goalkeeper sprawls, it's in! Kelly scores for England! Wow! All England substitutes are on the pitch! What a story this is!
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Audio there, thanks to Optus Sports. Shane van Gisbergen has extended his lead at the top of the V8 Supercars Championship after cruising to his 14th win of the season. That was at the OTR Super Sprint event at Tailem Bend. Meantime, Max Verstappen has taken a stranglehold of the Formula One Championship after he won the Hungarian Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was 15th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
3 out of 4 people never hear back from interviews. Shouldn't people matter more than that? Zoom Recruitment.
15 with a possible shower today. Showers increasing tomorrow 16. Wednesday showers and 19. Right now it's 7 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Whatever you're saving for, get there quicker with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Please consider the T's and C's.
23 to 7, police and weather coming up in just a moment. McIntyre Road is now open in all directions. The South Australian Infrastructure and Transport Department had it closed overnight. If you've been through the area, you'll have noticed that. Right now, though, it is open, back up and running. You might notice, too, that Qantas has had some issues in the last 24 hours with a computer outage that grounded flights. Those have been resolved. That's good news, but a quick check of what's happening at Adelaide Airport this morning reveals that there have been some cancellations already. There's a 6:25 flight that was meant to have departed 13 minutes ago, Adelaide to Sydney, that's been cancelled, and a Jetstar flight Sydney to Adelaide scheduled for 11:05 that's already been cancelled as well.
Quite a few texts flowing in already on the Automasters text line, several about beer prices. Morning, boys. I've played amateur footy all my adult life, and the teams I've played for had their club rooms at local pubs. I can remember 10 years ago we had young guys playing with us who wouldn't come to presentation because they couldn't afford it. I can't see that getting any better now. And thanks for that, Josh. And Jimbo says, hi guys, on the price of beer going up, this will hit pubs and small restaurants who are borderline and may be forced to close for good. And one here that I totally agree with, obviously, and I reckon our listeners overwhelmingly would too. Mark in Clearview says we should be celebrating the fact that the likes of Sard, Hooley and Delir, etc. want to play Aussie rules. Hear, hear.
There's no debate over this, is there? You should just be kicked out and never invited back.
Absolutely. The other thing, though, just in passing, a polite get stuff to all the Carlton supporters on Twitter who seem to think that this is some sort of unique Adelaide Crows problem.
Oh, yeah, but this is what actually,
every club's got its half-wit fans.
Yeah. I thought the AFL, the wording of these stories, to me, I think is actually within the AFL's control to weed this kind of weird club-based parochialism out a little bit. Because it's always written up as the Crows are investigating. Now, if you go to a club, if you go to a pub and someone punches you out and they're wearing a scarf of a football side, the football side's not the one that investigates what went wrong, right? It should be the venue, or it should be the police.
Yeah.
I think it's weird we always keep saying, oh, Port Adelaide are investigating, Adelaide are investigating, Carlton are investigating. With what? What investigative arm are we talking about?
All they can do is say,
be the venue.
Is this person a member? Can we have them banned? And the clubs, all the clubs want people like these banned from going.
Just should stop talking about it as though it's a club-based thing.
I mean, but yes. So their season's in absolute ruins. So whoever wrote the tweet for the Carlton cheer squad, clearly the way it was done was designed to cause maximum embarrassment for the Adelaide Football Club seconds after they'd been pantsed and had choked. So, there was a bit of we'll show them behind it, wasn't there?
Yeah. It still stuns me that these things are always treated as though, what should be done. It's pretty clear. Kicked out, banned for life.
Yeah.
Just make it instant. If two people can corroborate the story independently, you're done forever. It's surely not that complex.
Apparently a lot of people can, because there's a lot of people who said that it was a female fan and she wouldn't shut up. She was shouting it.
Well, that should be easy. We don't want that person at the football.
Yeah.
No one has got a right to come, and that person shouldn't be allowed to come at all. Conniver Mark says, well, Celtics great Bill Russell has died. Sad day for basketball. Yeah, 11-time champion, won 8 in a row in the 50s and 60s, and perhaps, and well, certainly even more so, a giant of the civil rights movement in the United States as well. A really sad day, a remarkable human being, and you could argue, there's a legitimate argument to make he might be the greatest to have ever done it. I did note that, Mark, and one of the most fascinating people to hear speak, the way he got treated in parts of his career by racist fans in that town is some of the saddest stuff you'll ever read about sport, and an ugly period of the Western world, basically, but an absolute giant of the game, no doubt about it.
Let's get this Undy Drive up and running.
Yeah, well, it is.
Super excited.
It is up and running.
Super excited about this.
5AAUndydrive.com.au. We've already got. You can hear coins rattling into the kitty as we speak.
Oh yes.
Just go to 5AAUndydrive.com.au and you can make a donation. Catherine House in the Hutt Street Centre. It's running all week. We've got some fun ahead after 7 o'clock. We'll launch it officially, but the money can start coming in now. Support these magnificent charities, folks, because they do such a wonderful job helping out the less fortunate right around Adelaide and South Australia. But we'll talk more about that in a moment. We'll check traffic first. Until your new BMW arrives, Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
G'day there. The Eliminate Festival still has closures in the parklands for Rundle Road between East Terrace and Decaturwood Terrace. Heavy fog on the freeway at the up track near Crayfors Ramp. It's down to 80 above the tunnels. That'll be affecting traffic as they head down the hill. Roadworks at McGill. The intersection of McGill Road, St Bernard's Road affecting both directions again today. The Milwaukee Tool M12 stock-up event starts Thursday at participating Milwaukee authorised retailers. Terms and conditions apply. Visit milwaukeetool.com.au for full details. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Wednesday's a special day at Wallace Cinemas. It's Seniors Day with free morning tea or coffee before your movie. It's your choice of movies from Bobby's classics like The Great Escape and An American in Paris. It's new release movies like Where the Crawdads Sing, Good Luck to You Leo Grand and Phantom of the Open. It's homemade choc tops with Golden North ice cream and freshly popped popcorn. Wednesday is Seniors Day at Wallace Cinemas. Visit wallace.com.au or download the app for session times.
You know us for our bright blue vans. Metropolitan Plumbing, Electrical and Air Conditioning. We are the proud winners of the Product Review Award for Plumbing in Australia for 2020 and 21. Did you know we offer $0 deposit interest-free payment plans, have no extra charge for after hours and can also often be at your door within the hour? Metropolitan Plumbing, Electrical and Air Conditioning. Available 24/7.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive Officer of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. Our Western Hospital GP clinic is comprehensive and integrated into Western Hospital to serve our community's needs. Our 10 GPs all have special interests and care for you in our unique environment located within the hospital. Though our clinic is non-bulk billing, this healthcare hub caters to various needs and our patients can be referred directly to our hospital and specialists. Visit westernhospitalgp.com.au.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And Business SA and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA, they're bringing all their experience to your business, making sure it's in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Get in touch with the experts, Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA on 8300 0000. That's 8300 0000.
There's more value at Coles with $20 off when you spend $250 or more online. Just enter the code VALUE20 at checkout. Shop now at coles.com.au. Coles. Value the Australian way. Offer ends August 2. T's and C's apply.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide, for Adelaide. 9 News.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Credit Union SA Bonus Savings Account. Open your account and you could be rewarded with bonus monthly interest. Consider the T's and C's.
15 to 7. If you haven't done it before, I strongly encourage you to check out the 5AA Facebook and YouTube live stream, because thanks to the excellent people at Credit Union SA, it will feature heavily this week with regard to the Challenge Bowl and the Undie Drive. There'll be all sorts of shenanigans that can only be captured on the excellent cameras here that are in the 5AA Breakfast studio. So just make sure you're across how to log on at short notice. Simple as going to the 5AA Facebook page or YouTube, search FIVEAA, and you'll find it. Credit Union SA bringing you the breakfast live stream all this week. Simon Timke, senior forecaster at the Bureau, joins us. Looks like you're bringing us some rain all this week, Simon.
Yes, look, a bit of a wintry week on the way today, but not so much. This week, but not so much today. Looking at the satellite picture at the moment, a bit of low cloud around the hills, and a line of cloud just moving across Kangaroo Island, approaching the Fleurieu Peninsula. And there's a couple of showers in there, so I think that for Adelaide today, chance of a shower or two about the southern hills and suburbs particularly. I think Adelaide Plains should be mostly dry today. Temperature-wise, we've been down to a minimum of 7.0 degrees just after 6 a.m. this morning, and expecting a maximum of 15 degrees for the city. Around the suburbs, 15 as well for Noarlunga, Elizabeth and Glenelg, 14 degrees for Mount Barker. The winds generally northwesterly, getting up to around 20 or 30 kilometres per hour, but the winds increasing tomorrow. I've got a couple of vigorous fronts moving across during the rest of the week, so we'll see showers develop during Tuesday. I think it'll be dry at first, but see some showers developing during the afternoon as that first front moves across, and those showers most likely in the evening, but I think developing during the afternoon. It'll be a pretty windy day too, seeing those winds get up to 35 to 50 kilometres per hour, and I think a chance that we'll need a severe weather warning over parts of the state tomorrow, possibly including the Adelaide area, so do keep an eye out for that. Temperature-wise, down to 7 again for Tuesday morning, 16 degrees the maximum. Showers on Wednesday, most likely early in the morning and again in the evening, another windy day, 19 degrees. On Thursday, showers early morning, redeveloping again in the afternoon, 17 degrees, another windy day too on Thursday. Friday, showers continuing, 15 degrees, and then I think we'll see a gradual easing of the showers over the weekend, but nonetheless, in general, a wet and windy week ahead of us, guys.
Batten down the hatches and turn off your sprinkler systems. Good stuff, Simon. Thank you, mate.
All right, let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Peter Williams is on the line. Peter, 3 people have been arrested after stealing a car in Seaford Rise.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Just before 3 a.m. this morning, police were called to Kestrel Circuit in Seaford Rise after an occupant reported hearing their Nissan Navara utility being stolen and colliding with garbage bins as it drove off down the street. Numerous police quickly began searching the area, guided to a location by the victim, whose GPS tracker indicated the vehicle was on Telegraph Road. Police located the vehicle abandoned on the street and immediately set up cordons. Police dog Rusty assisted with the search, quickly located a 14-year-old boy on Flagpole Road. And whilst police were arresting this boy, police dog Rusty continued searching and located another 19-year-old man and a 13-year-old boy hiding in the front yard of a premise. They were also arrested. The 13-year-old boy from FIVEAA and 14-year-old boy from Burton are expected to be charged with illegal use of a motor vehicle and theft, and the 19-year-old man from Seaford Meadows has been charged with illegal use of a motor vehicle and theft, and he's been refused bail to appear at Christie's Beach Magistrates Court later today.
Geez, they're very young. Peter, also a man is facing court today on firearms charges.
That's right. So on Friday the 22nd of July, members of the Crime Gangs Task Force attended a Wingfield business as part of an ongoing investigation into the Comanchero outlaw motorcycle gang. Police searched the vehicle at the address and located a handgun and a box of ammunition secreted within the vehicle. The firearm, which had a partially removed serial number and ammunition, was seized for forensic examination. As a result of further investigation, last Friday, Crime Gang Task Force detectives arrested a 38-year-old Glenelg man at Adelaide Airport. He was charged with possessing a firearm whilst unlicensed, possessing a defaced firearm, and failed to store ammunition separately from a firearm. He didn't apply for bail and will appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today.
And, Peter, a motorbike fatality just out of Narracourt.
That's right. So, unfortunately, a motorcyclist has died following a crash on private property in the state's southeast. Emergency services responded to Western Flat property at about 2:50 p.m. on Sunday the 31st of July after a motorcycle had collided with a tree. Despite the efforts of medical personnel, sadly the 24-year-old Narracourt man could not be saved. Police are now preparing a report for the coroner in relation to the circumstances surrounding the young man's death.
Good on you, Peter. Thank you. Senior Constable Peter Williams from SAPOL. It's 10 minutes to 7. 8223 is our name. You can text us as well at any time on any subject on the Automasters text line 0248 08 1395. We have a big launch ready for the Undie Drive after 7 o'clock. We'll get it away in the most official way you can in South Australia, I suspect. That's probably the turn of phrase that best describes what's coming up after 7 o'clock.
We've gone to the highest authority in a constitutional sense possible.
We have. That's right.
Let's just say it's effectively going to have royal imprimatur, the Undie Drive. It is.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
That's what's happening after 7 o'clock. Make sure you stick around for that. Ashley Mullaney for 7 News in the US joins us. Ashley, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
This story, Ashley, about the $1 billion lottery ticket in Illinois is really something. Just put our listeners in the picture for this one, because this is extraordinary.
Oh, well, I mean, this was a record amount of money, 1.33 something, many decimal points. There was I think it was an Illinois man who hasn't come forward yet, which is just extraordinary too. There is someone sitting on this $1 billion lotto ticket, a single lotto ticket that was purchased from a fuel station and hasn't come forward yet, and may never actually be public, because in Illinois there's a law there that means that you don't have to be identified if it's over $250,000, and probably rightly so. There might be some friends that come out of the woodworks when they find out you've just won $1 billion. But yeah, it's a huge amount of money, and it went to one person, but we're yet to find out who that person is. All I can say is that it wasn't the Channel 7 Bureau. We all put in our $10, and unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, we're all thrilled to be here, but we're all back at work.
I was going to say, actually, we probably wouldn't have you on the phone if you just won $1 billion. You'd probably be, somewhere in the Caribbean buying an island.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'd still chat to you guys every week, of course.
Oh, very kind, very kind. Hey, these fires in Northern California aren't showing any signs of going away. Very scary stuff.
It's not looking good for fire crews up there, and it seems to be back to back at the moment. We've had these scorching temperatures, not just in California, but right across the country. I mean, it is summer here, so it's a hot time of the year, but we are seeing record-breaking temperatures, and in this case, this particular fire is the biggest fire of the year in California. It's burning north of San Francisco, a small area called Siskiyou County, but it's ripped through 50,000 acres in 2 days, destroyed about a dozen homes. Thankfully, no lives lost and no injuries, but fire crews are saying it's 0% contained, so that just means they're not making any inroads at the moment. And what's concerning for them at the moment is they're saying that the intense heat actually causes these clouds that create their own weather system, and then more lightning strikes, and then more fires. So it's just this domino effect at the moment that they're seeing up there, and it does sound pretty daunting for fire crews, and I think it won't be the last we see of these kind of extreme weather events in the US and around the world, for sure.
No, scary stuff. Sadly, we can relate to it all too well. Ashley Mullaney, the 7 News US Bureau Chief, thanks for joining us this morning.
The chance of winning the Mega Millions is 1 in 303 million. Yahoo's done some good reporting on this, quoting a university professor from Lethbridge in Canada who makes the point that if you bought one ticket every day of the year, it would take you 400,000 years to have a 50% chance of winning. So it is relatively unlikely.
400,000 years.
Yeah. He said it's similar to paying $2 for a chance to guess which blade of grass on a football field is my favourite. You can then pay another $2 for another guess, but each time you guess, I'm choosing a different blade of grass. So it is unlikely. That said, for I think $2 a ticket, they are. $2 a ticket for a chance to win $1.37 billion US dollars.
Which is about 2 billion Australian dollars.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, we can talk ourselves into that. One of the most raw and I actually think heartbreaking bits of television I've seen recently, certainly in the world of sport, was last night. Cole Chalmers being spoken to after the heats of the I think it was the 53 that he was in. Or maybe it was the 100, whatever it was. He was swimming some heats. It was early days. He was just cruising through, no big deal. He got off the pool deck following the controversy of the weekend where he'd blown up with reporters following that relay with Emma McKeon that they won, but then renewed talks of rifts in the team and whatnot. And And he said last night live in this interview that he's thinking of just quitting swimming. He's thinking of being done. Here's what he said. He said, it's hard for me to stand up and swim this morning. Probably one of the biggest challenges I've had to face. I think media don't realise, like I've said on my Insta, how much of an impact it actually has on athletes and mental health. And for me, it took all my courage and energy just to stand behind the blocks and swim this morning. It's not something that I wanted to do. It's not something that I wanted to go through, to be honest. I've been so excited for this moment for such a long time and been working hard to be here for such a long time. And how it's unfolded definitely makes me question my future in the sport. Now, the written word doesn't do it justice. It was a portrait of a bloke who is being ripped apart at the moment. And whether you think he should be able to deal with it better or not, it felt, if you watched it live, beside the point, because you could see a guy who's not dealing with it at the moment. And if he gets asked about this stuff ever again, people don't care.
Yeah. Well, I think, look, I've seen some journos out there on social media trying to sort of defend or explain aspects of the coverage. My advice to them would be give up, because public opinion on this is the exact kind of thing that makes members of the public hate journalism, hate the media. The public sentiment on this could not be any stronger behind Kyle Chalmers. And I think that there's been a degree of flippancy about the treatment of his private life. I guess the issue is that, some of the backstory was quite, in a prurient way, quite fascinating.
Has it ever happened before? I mean, and he is one of the highest profile swimmers in Australian history. She's the greatest Olympian in Australian history. And thrown into the mix, a pop star turned swimmer.
Yeah, there are a number of angles to it as a story.
It couldn't be more salacious as a story.
But the problem now, though, is that this guy's out there busting his gut for his country.
Yep.
And, you're coming out of the pool, you've won all these medals, and you're getting questions about it. That's the problem.
Yes.
And that's where the journos need to go, all right, whatever the story was a month ago or 2 months ago when all of this broke, this guy's out there doing his day job now, so let's just put an end to all of that crap.
Let us know what you think, folks. 8223 0000, the treatment of Kyle Chalmers. You can text us well on the Automasters text line. All I would say, though, is this, and I reckon there's this sort of cute way in which we as media consumers talk about these sorts of things as though this is all the fault of the journalists covering the story and not the countless millions of Australians who have read the story and continue to read the coverage. Now, I have, so I would say I'm part of the problem.
Well, what were you saying about news.com?
So I watched this all weekend because I could see on Twitter everyone saying, oh, these journalists are horrible. Yeah, maybe they are. But 2 of the top 5 stories all weekend were Kyle Chalmers blowing up about the story and Ian Thorpe's response to Kyle Chalmers blowing up about the story. All weekend, right around Australia. The most clicked on thing. Now, the journalists have been wrong to pursue this now with a guy who's clearly battling with his mental health. But we're all a bit wrong too for reading and lapping up every last inch of it.
Well, the best example of that from history was after the tragic death of Princess Diana, how much anger there was from the public going, this is disgusting, this is what happens with the paparazzi. How many people are there who bought every single copy of New Idea and Woman's Day because they wanted to see the picture of, amazing world exclusive picture of Di in a see-through sundress, etc. Like, here's Diana on the ski slopes with a new boyfriend. Oh, I'm buying that one. I'm buying that one. I'm buying that one. Like, there's a certain degree to which it's almost a market-driven level of intrusion.
We're all part of the problem. I think it's time to acknowledge it. 7 minutes.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Here's who you can support around Adelaide. Bowel screening saves lives. If you're aged 50 to 74, do the free test kit mailed to you. It only takes a few minutes. Need more info? Visit bowelcancer.org.au. You don't get up to change channels on your TV, so why do it for your curtains or blinds? Get motorised and go smartphone control by Country Blinds today. This month, sip a little more Barossa gin at Gomersil Cellar Door. Indulge in Australian botanicals and bold flavours from Gomersil's vines in the Vin Gin Flight with a take-home gift. Search Gomersil for details. FIVEAA, supporting local business.
I'm Richard Pascoe, Adelaide Tech Guy. We've spoken before about motorised automatic curtains and blinds by Country Blinds. People often assume there's a lot of electrical work involved, but with Country's lithium battery-powered motor option, there's no need for a sparky. Installation can happen virtually anywhere inside your home with no fuss. The workings are invisible and batteries last months between charges. Cords and wands are so 1990s. So for a free measuring quote, just visit countryblinds.com.au.
Nothing beats the power of 4 Hyundai dealers working together for you. St Mary's, Ingle Farm, Nailsworth and Ranella Hyundai have pooled their resources to give you the very best Hyundai experience. Like this, buy a new Hyundai right now and they'll throw in a $500 fuel voucher. Yeah, a $500 fuel voucher. That's almost 6 months of normal driving across the Hyundai range. Only available at St Mary's, Ingle Farm, Nailsworth and Ranella Hyundai. T's and T's apply.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower, 15 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Curious about Samri? See inside the cheese grater and meet researchers on Sunday, August 14th. Book now at samri.org.au.
There's a change to the free RAT program for concession card holders from today. The free rapid antigen tests can be picked up from the same collection points which distribute kits to close contacts. The new rollout is because the state government is now running the scheme. Carers and guardians can also complete online applications on behalf of concession card holders and collect their free RATs if needed. More delays for Qantas passengers with an IT glitch impacting flights late yesterday. Christina Hearn is at Melbourne Airport this morning.
When Qantas passengers turned up to the domestic terminal early this morning, they were greeted by a security line which snagged all the way back to the international terminal. On top of that, 3 morning Sydney flights were cancelled, with passengers having to be rebooked on later flights. It comes after an IT glitch at Qantas caused havoc around the country yesterday. Some passengers stuck on the tarmac for more than an hour while the problem was sorted. It directly affected 15 flights but had a domino effect around the network. Qantas says the IT issue has now been resolved.
The Prime Minister's record-breaking satisfaction rating in the latest news poll is being attributed to a post-election honeymoon period. Anthony Albanese commands 61% of the vote in the first poll since taking office. It's the strongest satisfaction rating in almost 40 years. Independent Senator Jackie Lambie says the next 6 months will be the true test.
Mate, he hasn't even made it to the honeymoon yet. He's still doing the wedding waltz. Come on, you know, it's like 6 to 8 weeks. He's still doing the dance on the dance move. It's great to come out and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Can he now put it into practice? That's going to be the question.
Australia's privacy watchdog has launched a probe into TikTok's data collection. It's been claimed the social media giant continually checks a user's location while mapping their devices' apps. The Australian Information Commissioner says apps must be transparent when it comes to privacy. An Australian sheep farmer has been told to contact NASA after space junk fell onto his property in the Snowy Mountains. The 3-metre object speared into the dirt south of Jindabyne on Saturday night. Astrophysicist Dr. Brad Tucker has been to inspect the object and says it's from the trunk of the SpaceX Crew 1 capsule.
It's kind of like a ring almost. Has been in space since November 2020 and was purposely starting to deorbit. So there was a plan of having it come down on Earth and purposely hitting the Earth's atmosphere so that it would break apart and land in the ocean.
Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura on the original Star Trek, has died at the age of 89. The African-American actress is credited with breaking racial stereotypes on screen.
Security sweeps of all decks are negative, Mr. Spock. No evidence of intruder.
Very well. Cancel red alert, but maintain increased security.
Aye, sir. All decks cancel red alert. Maintain increased security.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia has just set a new world record in the women's 4x200 metre freestyle relay to claim gold in Birmingham. It's been a magical day in the pool with Emma McKeown taking out the 50 metre freestyle to become Australia's most successful Commonwealth Games athlete of all time. The 28-year-old claimed her 11th gold medal to surpass the record she shared with fellow swimmers Susie O'Neill, Ian Thorpe and Liesl Jones.
I just get in there and do my best, take each race one at a time. Obviously when I get in I want to win, like everyone else in the race. Yeah, 50, it's a fun event for me.
That audio courtesy of Channel 7. Also this morning, Kaylee McKeown won gold in the 100-metre backstroke, and there's been plenty of action away from the pool, with South Aussie Jess Stenson taking out gold over the weekend in the women's marathon. She admits it's taken a lot out of her.
Pretty cold here anyway, so no, we've just been wandering around, very slowly. And we'll let time do the healing.
Yeah, great stuff. 3 games to conclude round 20 in the AFL, with Gold Coast keeping its finals hopes alive. That's after a thrilling 3-point win against West Coast. Richmond came from behind in Shane Edwards' 300th match to beat Brisbane by 7 points, while Essendon's late-season revival continued with a 48-point demolition of North Melbourne. Alex de Minaur has just hit the court in the final of the Atlanta Open. He's up against local Jensen Brooksby, and games are currently on serve in the first set, with the Aussie leading 3-2. England are the Queens of Europe for the very first time after beating Germany 2-1 at Wembley Stadium to claim the Euro tournament in front of almost 90,000 fans. And Max Verstappen has extended his lead at the top of the Formula One Championship standings, following another win, this time at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was 15th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Good day on the freeway above the tunnels. We've got some thick fog up that way at Stirling for the down track. Speed's been reduced on the approach. Other speed reductions due to roadworks turning up today through Salisbury Highway, Greenfields Drive up in Greenfields, Grand Junction Road, Florence Avenue in Blair Athol, West Lakes Boulevard, West Lakes, and along Sir Donald Bradman Drive, Tapless Hill Road too. Hungry? Head to Oporto for the Bondi Burger Box. Double Bondi Burger, 2 crispy chicken strips, snack chips, drink and dipping sauce. Just $16.95 at Oporto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
3 out of 4 people never hear back from interviews. Shouldn't people matter more than that? Zoom Recruitment.
A possible shower today, heading for a top of 15. Showers increasing tomorrow, 16. And Wednesday, showers are 19. Right now, it's 7 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I can hear on a boat. I can hear in the shower. I can even hear when I swim.
Some of that's down to Audeo Life, the world's first waterproof rechargeable hearing aids. Call Connect Hearing now for your free 10-day trial on 1300 520 804.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Credit Union SA Bonus Savings Account. Open your account and you could be rewarded with bonus monthly interest. Consider the T's and C's.
8 after 7, an exciting morning on 5AA Breakfast today, and right across 5AA, because the Undy Drive is live, raising money for Catherine House in the Hutt Street Centre, our big charity drive each and every year. We love this part of the calendar. This year, partnering with the excellent people at the turf farm, they've come on board and they've supported us in a big way. I can see donations are already coming in at 5AAundydrive.com.au, and it's probably time to restate our commitment, David, to the excellent small and medium-sized businesses, big businesses too, if, Santos want to get involved.
Yeah.
If you donate
Amazon
to the Undy Drive, Amazon, that's where they've
Jeff
got
Bezos, if you're listening, we know he does tune in from time to time.
He does. He loves Rowie.
He's a massive Rowie fan.
He loves. It's weird. He just thinks he's awesome.
Yeah.
Whoever you might well be, from Bezos down, if you make a donation and you'd like something to be your business to get a plug, we will do it, and it'll be a value for money return proposition for you. I know that's not why you're doing it, because you want to support Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre, but if you get your business a plug in the process, well, that's fantastic.
We don't
too.
care. We're not here to question people's motivations. I mean,
no.
Karl Popper said there's no such thing as pure altruism.
That's right.
But we don't need to delve too much into the philosophy of it. It's just a question of we want to raise as much money as we can for Catherine House and for the Hutt Street Centre. It's what it's all about.
We will describe your business, even knowing not one scintilla of information about it, as the best in the business.
That's right.
That's our commitment to you.
With no background checking or anything.
We'll have no sense of whether you are a shonk or good or not. But
we don't care if you're featured on a current affair.
As far as the audience is concerned, we will say you are the best. That's because we care about Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre for the Undy Drive.
Now, look, we've gone big this year as well. We were thinking, who could we get to formally launch the Undy Drive? So we aimed high, and I've got to say that it is with immense pride And this all came about as a result of a wonderful civic reception that was held at Government House a little over a month ago, which I was lucky to attend on behalf of FIVEAA, in honour of Catherine House, where none other than our Governor, Frances Adamson, Her Excellency, hosted a number of people, including clients of Catherine House and many other people who had helped to raise funds for this hugely important organisation. So we have the Governor on the line now. Governor Frances Adamson, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us to launch the Undie Drive.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Will. It's a great pleasure to be doing this with you this morning.
Well, look, I mentioned the reception. That was a really good night, I thought. I just love the fact that there was such a sort of, cross-section of people from all across the South Australian community have all come together to get behind this very important organisation.
Indeed, and what was striking to me is just how loyal they all are to Catherine House. Across South Australia, really, you don't have to get too far into a discussion about homelessness to hear Catherine House mentioned, almost in these sort of reverential terms, actually, given the important work it's been doing now for over 3 decades, and then in the same breath, Hutt Street Centre. So that night, as you say, and of course you're too modest to mention, David, I hadn't expected this, that the highest community fundraiser and one of the awards that we were making was in fact to David and Will's Undie Drive, and the astonishing amount, over $35,000 that you had raised. But you mentioned we met there that night, clients of Catherine House, women who'd used Catherine House's services, had been helped when they were homeless, and who'd gone on, in some cases, to complete SACE, to get on with TAFE and tertiary education, to then essentially to come back and help support Catherine House. So there's a real community feeling around it, I think, and I think that's one of the reasons your Undie Drives have been so successful in the past and will be again, I'm sure, this year.
Your Excellency, you're the patron of so many charities around South Australia and at the cross-section, intersection of so many of these charities and the sources of giving from South Australia. And so I reckon you're best placed as anyone to answer a question about how they're likely to hold up in an environment where money's increasingly tight. I fear it's going to be a tough year for a lot of these charities.
I think it will be too. I mean, it already is. I think COVID has disrupted a lot of the patterns of life that include the way that we support charities. And of course, as you say, the economy is more difficult. There are economic headwinds there at the macroeconomic level, but of course they're facing individuals too. And all of those things that we know can lead to homelessness, whether it's the insecurity of the housing and the rental market, whether it's straight out poverty. Sometimes there's domestic violence involved, a relationship breakdown, sometimes mental illness. The thing that really impresses me about Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre is that they understand these issues and the way they interact. I mean, I think a lot of South Australians, we would find it very hard to contemplate being homeless, not actually to have a home to come back to, a bed to sleep in. And of course, there are many reasons why that can come about. And Catherine House and Hutt Street seem to be able to sort of work on this pretty early on. People who are at risk of homelessness with Hutt Street, they're a big focus for them. And then, of course, at both places, when actual homelessness arises, they understand that it's not just a bed for the night, it's all the wraparound services and really the love and support of the South Australian community that helps people through.
Well, as I said, Governor, it was wonderful to catch up with you the other night at that presentation, and we do sincerely appreciate the fact that you've given what we called vice-regal imprimatur to the formal launch of the Undie Drive for 2022.
I have willingly, and I'll be watching you both over the course of the campaign, and of course checking on that figure. It's not only the Undies themselves, but it's the dollar donations, and I think we all know just how much is at stake. And although the times are tough, the times are really tough, I think South Australians know that and will dig even deeper this year. At least that's my hope, and no doubt yours.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Governor Frances Adamson there joining us to formally launch this year's Undie Drive.
It's gotten serious all of a sudden.
Certainly has.
What
about that?
It's just grown at a rapid rate of knots. We've got, regal interest
That's right.
in the Undie Drive. This started out as a bin full of jocks.
Now it's by royal command.
now we've got the eyes of the palace on us. Okay, let's head to Catherine House. Jade Cooper joins us. We've spoken to numerous Sunday drives over the course of the journey, and it's always a delight to do so. Jade, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are we? That's a hard act to follow.
Oh, not at all, Jay.
No, you're the main event,
you were one of the stars of the show there the other night at Government House when we caught up.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you so much.
As the Governor was saying, it's a hugely important organisation. And I guess, too, you know, without wanting to get too sort of maudlin about it, there is a uniquely female aspect to this part of homelessness, because the key driver for so many women who find themselves without a place is, of course, domestic violence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really acknowledging that homelessness is actually quite a gendered issue. And I think that's why, you know, Catherine House being the only homelessness service for women is really why women feel so incredibly, I guess, comfortable even, you know, to come to Catherine House, because they know it is an environment that is, you know, it's only Catherine, you know, it's only women at Catherine House with staff and clients as well. So I think it's certainly a unique issue, but, you know, as we know, it's one that's just growing tenfold, you know. We're seeing more and more women contacting our services, and even, you know, from last year to now, and I've been involved, as you say, for a couple of years. You know, I think each year you ask me, you know, how hard is it, and is it, you know, homelessness getting worse? The answer that I give you every year is yes, you know, and that's our reality.
How are you going funding-wise? Because we know that the previous government, you had that funding shortfall. Has that been fixed up by the new lot?
No, I wouldn't say it's been fixed up, but look, we did have, you know, we have had $500,000 reinstated from the Malinowskis government from the 1.2 that we lost last year. So look, it's certainly not all the funding, but it's a great start. But again, I think it highlights the community support, which is, you know, one of the reasons why we had attended Government House, as you said, David, is because we honestly would not have gotten through the last 12 months if it was not for the community support. So when we had that funding loss, we had about 6 or 7 weeks that we really had to get enough money together, continue to, you know, to keep going. And probably for the last half of last year, we were simply opening our doors of our crisis accommodation service because of the money that we had raised through the community. Like, it was just incredible. So, you know, when people get behind initiatives like this, then that's what it means. You know, it allows us to continue to do our service for women.
Well, Jaylee, next time we chat, we're going to have a big cheque in hand, and it's going to represent the cumulative generosity of our listeners and indeed the South Australian business community. So looking forward to that day. A few days between now and then. We'll chat later.
Absolutely. Good luck. I look forward to listening.
Thanks, Jaylee.
Jaylee Cooper from Catherine House. The generosity starts before the Undy Drive officially kicks off, though, because we have a major sponsor that makes it all possible. And this year, the Turf Farm are on board. Tracy Daniel from the Turf Farm joins us on the line. Tracy, good morning to you. Thank you so much, firstly, for being the major sponsor of this important charity event that we love doing. Why did you want to get on board?
Yeah, good morning. How are you going?
Good, thanks, Tracy.
I guess it's a pretty simple answer for us. I guess the team at the Turf Farm want to make a difference. You know, something that's close to our hearts is that everyone should have a place that they should call home. And, Hutt Street Centre and Catherine House both do a wonderful job of providing that safety, food, shelter and clothing.
Yeah, well, you guys, seriously, don't sell yourselves short, Tracy, because you were saying at the start of the show, one of the things we love about the Undy Drive is how many great sort of local South Aussie businesses get behind it, because they do have that sort of innate community sense. But to be the principal partner of this year's operation is no small feat. So, you know, the generosity that you guys have shown, particularly at a time when a lot of businesses have been struggling and with cost of living pressures, it does mean a heck of a lot to the people who are going to end up, you know, receiving the funding for this clothing. So we can't thank you enough.
Oh, definitely. Like, you know, everybody's struggling a little bit at the moment, so I can only imagine, you know, what's happening out there is very hard, and you know, we just want to spread a bit of love and hope and help people get back on their feet.
Well, good on you. You guys are just tremendous for doing this. We can't thank you enough on behalf of Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre as well for being our major sponsor. Was without the generosity of a business that gets it all off the ground, there is no undue drive. So this year, big thanks to the Turf Farm, Tracy. Really appreciate it. We're going to have a fun week, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you very, very much. 5AAUndydrive.com.au is the place to go if you'd like to make a donation. They're coming in already, and we haven't even got to the Challenge Bowl, which is out now.
Oh, no, the envelope.
It's growing and coming increasingly close to the studio with challenges for 5AA.
Who are the sadists who are behind it this year?
I think it's Lucy.
Yeah.
I think she's got exclusively.
She's got that evil glint in her eye today.
I think the chief tormentor.
Yeah, that's right, Torquemada.
For the purpose of
that was his name, wasn't
the
it?
Undie Drive.
He was the guy in charge of the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, that's very loose. He's got a lot in common, actually.
Yeah.
All right, let's check traffic until your new BMW arrives. Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
Got a smash on Main North Road Prospect causing some minor delays up that way, and this freeway down track at Stirling. Speeds down to 80 due to some fog up there. That's just near the tunnel, so be mindful of that as well. Southern Expressway looking all right. North-South Motorway and further up at the freeway through the Murraylands, you're looking good. Amplify Premium Fuels, clean and protect your engine so you can go further with every tank, powering our way of life. Ampol, Australia's own. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
I think we all appreciate how useful and important trees are for our environment for a whole lot of reasons. I can't believe people who vandalise trees and ring bark them, which is nothing more than plain vandalism.
9 till 12 weekdays.
Is it time to change the penalty regime of people who do this? Because there's no question somebody who does this is creating a duress vis-a-vis vandalism.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
Taking care of your hearing health is so important, and it's that much easier with Audica. If you're over 26, get a free hearing check at one of the 350 clinics throughout Australia. Ask our expert team about 2-week free trials of high-quality hearing devices. There's value for every ear, from fully government subsidised devices or up to 20% off on selected models. T's and C's apply. Conditions apply under the Australian Government Hearing Services Program. Visit audica.com.au.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive Officer of Western Hospital at Henley Beach. Did you know that Western Hospital specialists are some of the most experienced in South Australia? We've handpicked our surgeons and physicians to ensure you are cared for in a compassionate and trusted environment. Your health is our priority as we provide care in our one-stop healthcare hub. For more information on our specialist team of surgeons and physicians, visit westernhospital.com.au. Your hospital that cares.
When My Living Outdoors say they take care of everything on your decking, veranda or pergola project, they mean it. And David, you've experienced firsthand when they built your new veranda.
I have, Will, and I've got to say, not only is the veranda a beauty, but the really good thing about dealing with My Living Outdoors, I'm going to say there's no special treatment here. I just pinged him an email like any other punter and said, look, I'm interested in fixing up our veranda and getting a new one, getting an extension. Michael came out to the house himself, walked through it, looked at the existing veranda and said, look, if we put a new one there, it's going to look great, but you're going to have the manky old one off to the side, so we can actually just do the whole thing from the get-go, and it probably won't even cost that much more. And I said, yep, let's do it, because we'll do it once, do it well. It was terrific dealing with them, a smooth first-class experience from start to finish, thanks to their seasoned builders. And they take care of everything from design, council approval, construction, the whole lot was sorted.
And you can hear it in that story you told. Their motto is good enough doesn't cut it.
Yep.
That attention to detail creates decks, verandas and pergolas that you are going to love for a lifetime.
And look, the great thing is this is going to be there forever. It looks great. We were sitting underneath it last night talking about it. Adelaide's top tradies, they love working with My Living Outdoors. Mike and his team, they know how happy tradies care more, so they'll give your home improvements the attention and the care that they deserve.
Visit mylivingoutdoors.com.au and take advantage of their August cashback sale. You can save up to $1,000 on any carport, decking or veranda project and up to $250 off any outdoor blinds or roller shutters project. On now until August 31st.
The Isuzu D-Max is born to tow. With 3.5-ton towing capacity, trailer sway control and a reversing camera as standard across the range, now's the time to hitch up the boat, caravan or trailer and hit the road in the powerful 3-litre turbo diesel Isuzu D-Max. Hurry to your local Isuzu Ute dealer today.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Whatever you're saving for, get there quicker with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Please consider the T's and C's.
25 minutes after 7. Book your service online at North Point Toyota to win the cost back. It is the North Point way. It was a big weekend in sport. But it was a big weekend too for the 5AA Sports Show with the announcement that Tim Ginniver would be joining Stephen Rowe very, very soon. Rowie, good morning to you, mate. How are you feeling?
Pembo and Will, good morning. Yes, the Port whinging, agitating and sooking has worked again. They've got their way. Timmy G, he'll host the 5AA Sports Show with me, and I reckon he'll dominate. Now, look, we've spelt it out to him in plain English, because it had to be in plain English. In his contract, it's still 80% Crows and 20% other. 20% other, Tim, okay? Port's in the other. So I reckon as long as he falls into line with that, Lockie Murdoch, our owner, will be happy. And you know what? Timmy and I will get on just fine.
Oh, yeah. I can see that happening.
Especially after this build-up.
Oh, well, that's okay. Hey, just quickly, sport, I know we're out of time. Hey, congratulations again on the undie drives to our Bricky team. Pembo, Will, your team, Lucy and all of you for Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre. Whatever we can do to help, brilliant. So, well done. I'm looking forward to that. Hey, the club needed that win, the Crows, that is. They're building that team up with I think the right amount of today and on tomorrow. Might have taken a number of weeks, but they have. Hippiparay for Ben Keys, a permanent half forward. Hey, he negated Sard, tick, kick 3, tick, goal assist, tick. The perfect game for that role. And it allowed Saligo, Schomburg and Berry in the centre. Will, you and I called that game. Yep. The knock-on effect of him standing up was superb.
Well, and with all due credit to yourself, Rowie, you've been calling for Keys to play as a permanent half forward since round 3, I think. You've been in every single call you've made the point, because the knock-on effect, as you articulated beautifully during the call, meant that you suddenly had 2 young guys on ball for the entire game. You suddenly had someone who can shut down a Sard, those kind of half-back flankers that run around. They've cut the Crows to ribbons this year. But you've got a guy on Keys who can shut him down and run the other way. It was just a masterstroke. And we were speaking earlier too, Rowie, about the emergence of Darcy Fogarty and the way he now just provides a couple of highlights each game for fans just to get out of your seats. There was so much to like on the weekend. Yeah, well, Fog now knows he belongs. It's taken 5 years. He's getting back to that under-18 swagger and that arrogance. See when he took that mark and he stared down his opponent? It's taken 5 years, but that's the real Fog. He plays his best when he's arrogant and up and about. Oh, look, it was brilliant. It was a terrific win. Oh, look, I'll leave Port to Timmy G. In short, they lost to another top 4 team. They had a crack. They're just not good enough. They sit 12th with 8 wins. They lost 4 of their last 5. Look, they're done. We know that. The dogs are barking, and you know what? We'll let them eat their own. Hey? Don't you reckon?
You know, hey, can I just... Rowie, what do you think the chances are that Port and the Crows could end up be playing the showdown in a little over 2 weeks' time to work out who wins the most games this year? Because with the Crows playing West Coast and North... vastly winnable games, and Port play Richmond and Essendon. Richmond got everything to play for this week. Port got nothing to play for apart from pride.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Can I say before I go, I know we're out of time, thanks for the time, congratulations to now Supermum Jess Stenson, Adelaide's own. She won the Com Gold in the marathon. She had COVID some weeks back. We spoke to her in St. Moritz. So it's a bronze in Glasgow, a bronze at the Gold Coast, now gold, the only woman to win a medal in all 3 games. This lady is a star. We'll speak to her tonight. Thanks for your time, and bye for now.
You're getting all forward now. You got a new partner.
Honestly, he doesn't start till next week. I am so... Do you know what? Everyone loves Timmy G, and I think that's the beauty of this. We're going to have fun with it. You know, I'm having a crack at Port. They'll eat their own this week. I can just hear the drums banging. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. I'm going to sit back with my popcorn and just go, you little peyote.
Good on you, Rowie. Book your service online. He's up and about this morning.
But he's not going to be able to get away with that anymore now that Tim's on the show.
No, well, I think he's seeing it as a license just to go. You know, the handbrake is off. Book your service online at North Point Toyota to win the cost back. It is the North Point way.
Saving for this? Maybe some of this? Then you're going to need one of these. Sorry, we didn't have a sound effect for a Credit Union SA bonus savings account, but we can give you up to 2.5% per annum interest each month you make a deposit of any amount with no withdrawals. 2.5%. What a bonus. Save your way with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Consider the terms and conditions before applying. Interest rates are subject to change.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower 15 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Curious about Samri? See inside the cheese grater and meet researchers on Sunday, August 14th. Book now at samri.org.au.
The price of beer is on the rise, with Australian pubs in for the biggest tax hike in more than 30 years. The latest increase of 4% will cost venues more than $2,700 a year. CEO of the Brewers Association, John Preston, says it's due to rise again in February.
The government automatically indexes it twice a year, so I think that's why it exists. It's something that came in a long, long time ago, and you know, it's always been there, and it always goes up. It's a few $1 billion a year the federal government gets from beer tax alone, $7 billion from all alcohol tax. So it's a good revenue stream.
Free rapid antigen test kits are still available for vulnerable South Australians, but from today, SA Health will distribute them at more than 50 collection points as well as PCR clinics. Pharmacies will no longer provide free rats, with the federal funding wrapping up yesterday. Meantime, local authorities are confident the latest Omicron wave has now passed its peak. 3 teenagers have been arrested accused of stealing a car at Seaford Rise. Just before 3 a.m, a resident of Kestrel Circuit reported hearing their Nissan Ute being stolen and colliding with garbage bins in the street. The car's GPS tracker led them to Telegraph Road, where the Ute was found abandoned. Senior Constable Peter Williams says a 14-year-old boy was found nearby.
Police dog Rusty continued searching and located another 19-year-old man and a 13-year-old boy hiding in the front yard of a premise. They were also arrested. The 13-year-old boy from Morphettvale and 14-year-old boy from Burton are expected to be charged with illegal use of a motor vehicle and theft, and the 19-year-old man from Seaford Meadows has been charged with illegal use of a motor vehicle and theft, and he's been refused bail to appear at Christie's Beach Magistrates Court later today.
Australia's competition watchdog is expected to release its review into gas prices today. Michael Packey has more.
About 6 weeks ago, the federal government ordered the Competition and Consumer Commission to examine soaring gas and electricity prices and propose any regulatory changes that may be needed to better protect users. The ACCC has examined the profits and margins of the big producers and is expected to suggest gas prices will remain high well into next year as a result of supply constraints. We'll also get an update on the review into the gas trigger, which allows governments to intervene in the market in the event of a shortage.
Poorly funded and promoted dental schemes, long waiting lists and rising insurance premiums are causing a decline in oral health habits. Research commissioned for Dental Health Week reveals most people are failing to floss or visit the dentist regularly, which can have serious consequences. The Australian Dental Association's Dr. Michaela Shinotto says we can improve oral hygiene by going back to basics.
This includes brushing twice a day for 2 minutes each time with toothpaste that includes fluoride. Every day it is important to clean between the teeth with floss. It's also important to eat a diet low in added sugars. Finally, throw in a regular trip to the dentist.
A passenger at Darwin Airport has copped a fine of nearly $3,000 for trying to bring McMuffins into the country from Bali. The seized products will be tested for foot and mouth disease before being destroyed. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Emma McKeown has become the most decorated Commonwealth Games athlete in history. UK correspondent Carrie-Anne Greenbank reports.
Emma McKeown has just made history in spectacular fashion, winning her 11th Commonwealth Games gold medal. That is the most gold medals of any Commonwealth Games athlete in history. Australia are in first, second and third position in the women's 50-metre freestyle, while Kyle Chalmers has just set a Games record in his 100-metre freestyle semis. He's also hit back at media reports of a so-called love triangle between himself, Emma and Cody Simpson, saying the claims are not true, they're impacting his mental health, and he's threatening to quit swimming if the reports continue.
And Australia has just won gold in the pool again in the women's 4x200 metre relay, setting a world record in the process. Let's go to football now. The Crows and Port Adelaide will recover today following their matches on the weekend. The Power remain in 12th after going down by 6 points to Collingwood, while the Crows are up to 15th after beating Carlton by 29 points. Richmond's finals hopes, meantime, remain alive after beating Brisbane by 7 points. And there were two other games to wrap up round 20 yesterday, with Gold Coast narrow 3-point winners against West Coast, while Essendon belted North Melbourne by 48 points. And in some tennis to finish, Alex de Minaur is off to a fast start in the final of the Atlanta Open after taking the first set off American Jensby Brooksby 6-3. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Hi there, traffic running pretty well throughout the Murraylands, Adelaide Hills and South Coast. We do have a minor accident on Main North Road in Prospect. Sterling, heavy fog around the freeway near Crayfus, ramps down to 80 above the tunnels citybound. Runnel Road remains closed between East Terrace and Kettleville Terrace to the Illuminate Festival there in the Parklands. Want seriously fast home Wi-Fi and Netflix included in your internet plan? Get more choice when you switch to Optus Home Internet. The home of better internet. It starts with yes. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
3 out of 4 people never hear back from interviews. Shouldn't people matter more than that? Zoom Recruitment.
A possible shower 15 today, showers increasing tomorrow 16 and showers are 19 on Wednesday. Right now it's 7 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I'm Richard Pascoe, Adelaide Tech Guy. You've got to love motorised automated curtains and blinds by Country Blinds. My favourite feature is scheduling, opening and closing times. Having your curtains and blinds automatically open and close at set times each day can save on heating and cooling costs. Then there's security. Program your curtains and blinds so that it never looks like there's no one at home, and you'll keep the bad guys guessing. For a free measure and quote, visit countryblinds.com.au.
Jack's Tyres and Auto do more than just look after your tyres, they also do vehicle servicing. They reckon it's their best kept secret, but it's probably not a secret anymore. You see, your local Jack's store has the expertise to offer a total peace of mind driving experience, because Jack's is a brand that offers value, trust and convenience. Combining the highest quality products and services, they measure their success by your satisfaction. Visit your local Jack's Tyres and Auto store today.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joyreen Fashions. We have some fantastic bargains in the final weeks of our closing sale. All winter garments are now $29. All spring and summer garments, plus special occasion wear, half price. Hurry in before we close the door for the final time and purchase quality garments at bargain prices. Ladies, this is amazing. Winter garments just $29 at Joyreen Fashions closing sale, 491 Port Rush Road, Glenunga.
Hi, Alan Lark from Mannix Air. We'll keep saying duct and reverse cycle heating and cooling has never been more affordable. Here's why. At Mannix, we'll design, supply and install an Hitachi or Panasonic system to your smaller home from just $5,990, or a Mitsubishi or LG system to an average size home from just $6,990. That's right, year-round high-efficiency air conditioning at prices that won't break the budget. For a free quote, call 1300 Mannix or go online anytime.
Cruising is on the horizon with Phil Hoffman Travel. 2023-24 Princess Cruises offer unique itineraries throughout Australia or even a South Pacific crossing to Vancouver. Cruise into Adelaide on board the Majestic Princess Northern Explorer itinerary for 21 nights, sailing 7th of March 2023 from Sydney, starting from $3,759 per person. Secure your cabin today. Phil Hoffman Travel, proudly South Australian and here for you. Visit pht.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Whatever you're saving for, get there quicker with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Please consider the T's and C's.
21 minutes to 8. The Undy Drive is officially up and running. It started from 6, but I think it became official when the Governor of South Australia, Francis Adamson, joined us and said, the Undy Drive is on. There's some donations coming in already on the Undy Drive website, 5AA-undydrive.com.au, proudly supported by the Turf Farm, tough South Australian turf, supporting South Australians doing it tough. Bernie has donated $20. Edwina has donated $20. Jeanette has donated $20. And how about Naomi Will? The ever-generous Naomi Will from Naomi Will Real Estate has tipped in money as she always does. She's always tremendously generous. Naomi, thank you. Keep your donations coming in. We will talk about the businesses that support the Undy Drive at length.
Naomi deserves a special mention.
Yes.
Because every single time we call for contributions on anything, in fact, when we had Luke on from Good Quality Meats about the World Butchering Olympics coming up in the US, she jumped in with a grand, or I think $1,500, I think, from memory for that.
Yeah.
She lives to give.
Always. One of the first donators out of the box every time we ask people to be generous.
Yeah, thanks,
One of the most generous people in South Australia. There's no doubt about that. Have you noticed the not the elephant in the room, but the Lucy in the room?
Hang on a minute.
Uh-oh. We thought that music would be fun originally when the Challenge Bowl became a feature of the Undy Drive, but it actually now it gives you a sense of impending doom if you're in this room, because we're working at 5AA. The Challenge Bowl represents milestones worth of donations, and if we get to a certain level, whatever is revealed in the challenge envelope must be completed. So right here and now...
I've got to say, Rowie should have been careful laughing about it earlier, because
yes.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be a victim of this later in the week.
I suspect so. So our first mark is $2,000. If we can raise $2,000, whatever's in this envelope will have to be done.
Okay.
Lucy's given it a shuffle. There's a lot of envelopes in that bowl. If you're watching along on the 5AA Facebook or YouTube live stream, thanks to Credit Union SA, there's a lot of envelopes. That's really concerning.
A lot of bad stuff in there, I think.
All right, let's have a look.
I fear.
Okay, the one that has been drawn out. It's for me. Challenge for Will, it says in bold at the top. Oh, I didn't have to go first. I wanted to see someone else humiliated first, and I could just sort of ease into the week. Okay, here's what it says. If we get to $2,000, you must take home a lifelike baby for 24 hours after the show and record your progress of everything involved with looking after said baby. Oh, here it is. Oh, if you're on the live stream, my actual baby's not due for a couple of months, but it looks like we're getting in early.
Is this like one of those training babies that you get given when you do antenatal classes?
It's quite heavy. It's a girl, Luce. What's her name?
Well done. Well spotted.
Yeah.
This is baby Annabelle. So
Annabelle.
Please turn onto the Facebook live stream. It is a life-size baby doll. Now, Will, you can feed it. It cries.
Oh, no. Like while we're on the air?
Is it like the old Baby Alive that was all the go in the 1970s? A lot of
similar,
our female listeners would have had that.
Just a 2022 version.
Does it need to go to the bathroom?
Well, I've handed you a water bottle and you can fill it, so I'm assuming that at some point it might need to go to the bathroom.
I'm not a biologist, but I understand that's how it works.
So, what's the traditional method for making sure that the milk is at an acceptable temperature?
Oh, I just like I do with my food. It's just 25 seconds in the microwave.
Oh dear!
Now, where do you put the milk? On which part of your own body?
On your
put
wrist.
The milk? On your wrist. Yeah. Well,
now,
we'll flyer.
Like we've said, if we hit $2,000 by 8:55 this morning,
yes,
you need to take home that baby for the next 24 hours
and care for it,
and love it like it's your own. Now, your lovely wife Alison cannot help you.
Oh no!
Is it going to
wake
up?
She can film you.
Is he going to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning screaming?
I would really hope so. Alison, if you're listening, can you just wake Will up
What makes a bottle without a flat bottom? It doesn't stand up. Hey,
That's your first challenge.
Has it got settings on the back? Because I want to set it to totally mental.
Well, we've got to hit the $2,000 first for the Undie Drive.
Undiedrive.com, 5AA-undiedrive.com.au. Can I ask a question? Apropos of nothing. Have child services ever preemptively stepped into a situation before a child's been born? Because I've got a feeling this could be an incriminating 24 hours.
Yeah, we'll show up little Annabelle for the live stream.
Katrine Hilliard watching.
Oh, look at Annabelle. Her eyes just creepily opened there.
Hold her by the neck, Will. Hand behind the neck. Come on.
No, she's doing all right.
Got to support her head. Very good.
Look at that. Raised up like the goblet of truth.
$2,000 by 8:55, and you've got to look after little Annabelle for the next 24 hours.
Does she sit in the
please?
studio with me?
Look, if you're comfortable with that,
gotta
but if
hold it
not,
at all times.
we do have a job to do.
All right. $2,000.
Yes,
By
please.
9 o'clock.
Yep, 5AA-undiedrive.com.au.
Oh, okay. Company giveaway today. Anyone wants to donate some babysitting hours today?
Go on, folks. Get behind this. We need a visual record of your next 24 hours, Will. I think we want to see visual evidence of you at home tending to baby Annabelle.
So my wife's
Annabelle. Its name's Annabelle.
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 My wife's 28 weeks pregnant. My fear is she's going to have real regrets when she sees what the next 24 hours like. She's going to think about her choice of partner, our wedding day, the last 20 years of her life, and the next 20 years.
Have I made the right choice?
Yeah, this could be a really problematic 24 hours. But
having said that, I mean, you can learn a lot in 12 weeks. Maybe you can, if
I can make amends.
If the next day goes badly, maybe do some sort of crash course.
Might need it. I think someone might step in. 5AA-undiedrive.com.au, Turf Farm major sponsor. The Challenge Bowl has spoken, and the Challenge Bowl will not be denied. $2,000 by 9 o'clock, please, for Catherine House in the Hutt Street Centre. Now,
your holding technique's good.
You like that?
Yeah, it's good.
I can't host the show and hold a child. I don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to work out what we're doing next.
Every mother listening will say it's called multitasking. Get used to it.
Yeah, but if people have heard this program know I can't even single task. So this is setting the bar exceptionally high. Let's do traffic.
Do you want me to hold the baby?
No, it's all right.
You can push the buttons.
That's all right. I can do this one. Until your next BMW arrives, Adelaide BMW will help your current vehicle be fueled. T's and C's apply.
G'day, above the tunnels on the freeway. Fairly thick fog at the moment for city bounds, down to 80 there at Stirling near the Crafers ramp. Rundle Road remains closed between East Terrace and the Kettlewell Terrace for the Illuminate Festival. Intersection upgrade works for McGill Road, St Bernard's Road, McGill. Looking good on the north-south motorway from Wingfield and beyond. And the Southern Expressway, same deal. Looks good there. Battery World is giving you a chance to win one of 4 $25,000 cash prizes. Purchase any car battery to be in the draw. Battery World, powering Aussies for 25 years. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Get in here. It's Sheeds. We don't have the time to mess around. We can't afford any more downtime, and we need a result. It's about trust, and for hydraulic hose repairs, Ryco 24/7 are the ones. They'll get to you wherever you are. Their vans are on the road with fully qualified repairers, and they are supported by that other great South Australian team, BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years. Call Ryco 24/7 on 133247 or visit ryco247.com.au.
Who can fix the shower?
Service today.
Who can fix the power?
Service today.
Yes, we can, is what we say at
Service today.
From emergency plumbing to electrical and heating and cooling, no matter what size job you need, at Service Today, the answer will always be yes, we can. It's Service Today guaranteed, or it's free.
Can you fix the shower?
Yes, we can. Can you fix the power?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can, is what we say at
Service Today.
Look out for our bright yellow trucks.
It's one of the hardest and most complex decisions you can make, deciding on the future well-being of your parents.
But now you can find all the information you need in one place in the 2022 Aged Care Guide, and what's more, it is absolutely free.
In it, you'll find information on all aged care homes, home care providers, placement consultants, My Aged Care information, and a comprehensive list of aged care financial support services to give you a better understanding of costs. It also has a comprehensive list of providers of these services to enable you to choose the best provider that suits you. Other features include types of care available, the ins and outs of short-term care, applying for funding, and much more.
For 22 years, the Aged Care Guide has supported local SA businesses. For your free copy of the 2022 Aged Care Guide, call 8276 7999, that's 8276 7999, and arrange to have it delivered free to your door.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. We've been helping Adelaide buyers and sellers for almost 40 years. That's why so many South Australians look to us for real estate advice. Right now, we're working with 5,697 buyers in Unley, 5,275 in Prospect and 4,864 in Wattle Park, all searching for their perfect property in these specific suburbs. If you're thinking of selling and would like to know how many buyers we're working with in your suburb, go to toop.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Credit Union SA Bonus Savings Account. Open your account and you could be rewarded with bonus monthly interest. Consider the T's and C's.
11 minutes to 8. John Blake coming up very, very shortly. We're on the path to finding $2,000 for Catherine House in the Hutt Street Centre so I can care for an anatomic child for the next 24 hours.
Isn't Annabelle the name of the one in the scary movie?
Oh, don't tell me that. I won't sleep tonight. Maybe that's the idea.
Hello, Will.
Maybe that's the idea.
You're going to find it under the bed with its head twisting around.
Big thanks to Nat Cook, who's chipped in $250 in the last 15 minutes as well.
Do we do plugs for politicians as well?
Why not? I think if they donate enough, it's for charity.
Vote one, Nat Cook.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Nat. Thank you for donating to the Undie Drive.
And what about this? Aaron from Hyundai Nailsworth, fantastic bloke, fantastic car dealership out there for all your Hyundai needs. He has donated $1,000.
Wow.
They're a very charity-minded business out there. And it's not the first time they've donated. So huge thanks to Aaron and the team there at Hyundai Nailsworth. Absolutely fantastic car dealership. $1,000 towards the Undie Drive.
That puts them right now in prime position. That's the best car dealership going around right there.
Absolutely. Best in the business.
They are the best in the business. I wouldn't buy a car from anywhere else after.
Mad if you did.
You're actually really, it's quite dangerous in fact.
That's right.
5AAUndiedrive.com.au. Doesn't matter if you're a business, big, small, or indeed just someone like already the wonderful people that have chipped in 20, 30, 50, 40, $50. Just go to 5AAUndiedrive.com.au.
We're almost there, Will. We're up to $1,310. So that's pretty good, given we launched this not even 10 minutes ago.
It's already a cracking pace. I think it looks like I'm going to be taking the child home, doesn't it?
Yep.
News story that's been running on 5AA News throughout the morning is a really sad one. Nichelle Nichols, the original actor who played Uhura in the original series of Star Trek, the Gene Roddenberry, William Shatner, and Leonard Nimoy one, has passed away. The news was announced on her Instagram account via her son, Kyle. Incredible series of firsts she's responsible for. The very first black woman to be shown on television in a position of authority was Nichelle Nichols. She's the first black actress to have her hand at Man's Chinese Theatre in the concrete there. And the most controversial moment of her career. Now, you wouldn't think Star Trek, the original series, was particularly controversial, but there was a really controversial moment that took place on the show. It's a first in American TV history. It was the first interracial kiss that ever happened on United States television. It was between
Star Trek.
It was on Star Trek between William Shatner and Nichelle Nichols, and it was a huge controversy when they sat down to film it. The story is extraordinary. Here's a little bit of Nichelle Nichols talking about it.
I was determined that I wasn't going to crack until he cracked. And everybody's afraid to crack or whatever because they're bursting. And finally the suits stand up and there's this hush. They're going to throw the whole scene out or what? And the suits say, go with the kiss. And they walked out. And the pandemonium broke loose. Laughter, all but the director. And he said, I had a legitimate excuse. I had a legitimate reason. That's how the first interracial kiss came to be on national television in the United States of America, where it can't happen.
It was such a controversy. On the day they filmed the scene, so William Shatner didn't know it was going to be controversial. They filmed it. He kissed, and the director called cut, and he came over to him and whispered, what are you doing? And he said, well, it's a kissing scene, isn't it? And he went, yeah, but we can't be doing this. It got to the point that the suits Nichelle Nichols was talking about were NBC executives who turned up on set to observe what was going on. And there was this big kerfuffle. So in the end, Gene Roddenberry, who was in charge of the whole production, said, film it two ways. Film it two ways. And because the kerfuffle had taken so long, there wasn't long left in the day to film. So William Shatner, he said, let's do the kiss. Let's do the proper kiss the first. We'll do it the first take. And they did it, and halfway through he went, no, we haven't got it. That's not right. Let's do it again. No, you know what we should do? We should do it this way. And he kept doing take after take. And eventually the assistant director said, hey, we've got 8 minutes of light left. We need to get to the non-kiss version.
Surely there's another explanation, though, because she's a very good-looking woman. Maybe you just sort of make this last as long as possible.
There's definitely an explanation. But then in the non-take version, he sort of dropped her down beneath the frame of the camera, so you couldn't see the kiss. But when he looked up at the camera, he went cross-eyed deliberately and killed the take. And that was the last one they had. So the next day when they were reviewing the footage, they had to use the kiss because he'd gone cross-eyed deliberately in the other version to make sure that they had to use it.
Amazing.
It's an amazing story.
Wasn't there discussion about whether they could not screen it in the southern states?
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah, huge controversy. Sad to see her go. She's a
How's the baby
remarkable
going there, mate?
character. Yeah, I'm trying to.
You haven't dropped it yet?
I'm trying to plough on. The drink's spilling all over my paperwork over here.
That's all right.
So I'm sure it must be a sight for the live stream.
No, you look like a natural.
Thank you.
I reckon you go all right with the real one, just quietly.
Oh, this is going to be a long 24 hours. It's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Welcome to Mastermind. Could we have our first contestant, please? Please state your name and occupation.
John Sturgeon, Illuminate Adelaide Coordinator.
Your special subject, Illuminate Adelaide, and your time starts now. How much of taxpayers' money does Illuminate Adelaide cost?
That's a secret because if it got out, everyone would be horrified.
Correct. What was the wisdom of doing it in midwinter when the weather is miserable and no one feels like going out?
Because once people get out of the house and look at the lights, they go, oh, look at the lights.
More information.
The trouble is convincing them to get out of the house when it's pissing down with rain.
Correct. What does Illuminate Adelaide try to achieve?
Nobody knows, but it looks like we're trying to do something.
Correct. Why was it necessary to block off Rundle Road for 3 months, causing traffic disruptions, instead of using some of the wonderful parklands we have available?
Bloody good question.
Correct. What was the thinking behind giant illuminated puppet animals at the Adelaide Zoo?
People love it.
More information.
People love it if they're stoned.
Correct. Name some things that are more impressive than shining random lights on a few buildings in the CBD.
The lights of Loberthal.
Correct.
The lights at Adelaide Oval.
Correct.
The lights at a local primary school fete.
Correct.
Someone tying their shoelaces.
Correct.
A
tumbleweed.
Correct.
The FIVEAA sign at 75 Hindmarsh Square.
Correct. And after round one, you have a perfect score. Join us again next time on Mastermind.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. It's time for our weekend real estate wrap with Susanna Toop from Toop & Toop. Morning to you, Susanna.
Good morning.
So, Susanna, it's a pretty tight rental market out there. Now, you've got a bit of information about some dodgy practices that have been going on. What are the sorts of things that tenants should be looking out for?
Look, it's just horrible at the moment. Scammers are very much out and about, and what they're doing is they're taking advantage of tenants who are desperately looking for properties, because as you know, it's just been so difficult at the moment to try and find a rental property. And what they're doing is they're putting up fake rental listings on places like Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace and making tenants pay the bond and 2 weeks' rent to secure the property that doesn't even exist. So,
you're kidding.
Yeah, it's just awful. I mean, they're taking photographs, they're grabbing them from wherever they can, and then saying, look, to grab and get this property, you need to sort of transfer the money. And tenants obviously saying, well, doing anything that they can to get into places. And it's just been, terrible to see that they've, taking advantage of such a dire situation at the moment. But
that's extraordinary.
Yeah, look, it is. It's just shocking. But if you are a tenant and you are a little bit concerned, just some tips would be, look, where possible, go with a reputable agency, because you will be able to easily verify that the property is available by doing a sort of double check on their website and places like that, just to confirm the legitimacy. But if it is a private landlord, ask to meet them at the property so you can physically inspect the home. So that way you know that they've got keys, they've got access, they can wander you through the property, and obviously give you a lot more comfort that that is actually available for rent. And the other thing would be to ask for the formal paperwork. So a landlord needs to lodge a bond with Consumer Business Services within 2 weeks of receiving the money, and there is a form that goes along with this. So if you ask to see a copy of this form all filled out prior to making any payment, it would definitely give you a little bit more comfort that they're obviously doing the right thing and going to be lodging the bond with the right body there here in SA.
Yeah, that's good advice and certainly something that people should be mindful of. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate, thank you for that. Getting some excellent baby-related tips for you here, Will. Sharon says, guys, just a question. I hope Will has a baby capsule in his car. Otherwise, how is he going to take baby Annabelle home? Something to think through there. And
yes, that's problematic.
Scott from Aubrey says, hey, Dave, if the baby has a dial on the back, go all in and set it to Chucky. Except
don't do that.
It means that Will might not be in tomorrow.
Do that. I saw Chucky when I was 6 years old, and I couldn't walk into a department store and look at a dummy for years. That traumatised me more than anything I've seen in my childhood, that film.
Yeah, it's
terrified me. So let's hope it's not like that.
Annabelle's looking all right there. Her eyes aren't glowing or anything like that.
Oh, I'm starting to get very uncomfortable. 5AA News on the way, breaking it 8 shortly.
A lot of shopping centres are the same. Same predictable shops, same people. But if you want something new, check out Newton Central with Drake's, Barossa Fine Foods, Seafood Works, Target and many more specialty shops. It's the kind of centre where you can get some retail therapy, do the weekly shop or gather all the fine ingredients you need for an impressive family feast. Want something new in your life? Choose a new local. Choose Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
Did you know at a New Orleans jazz funeral, mourners follow a marching band playing sorrowful music? Once the body is buried, the mood changes to upbeat jazz and dancing. To celebrate the life of your loved ones, choose simplicityfunerals.com.au.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower 15 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Curious about Samri? See inside the cheese grater and meet researchers on Sunday, August 14th. Book now at samri.org.au.
A new free rat program is being rolled out in SA today. Concession card holders will now be able to pick up their tests from more than 50 existing collection sites, which will also continue to distribute the free rats to close contacts. Health Minister Chris Picton says it comes after the federal scheme wrapped up yesterday.
Rapid antigen tests can be very expensive out of your budget, and it is important to people to take measures to make sure that they stay safe, particularly when we're facing the current BA5 wave.
The state government is providing up to 10 free rats over a 3-month period to eligible concession card holders, with a maximum of 5 per month. A man's died in a crash in the state's southeast. Senior Constable Peter Williams says it happened on a private property.
Emergency services responded to Western Flat property at about 2:50 p.m. on Sunday after a motorcycle had collided with a tree. Despite the efforts of medical personnel, sadly the 24-year-old Narracourt man could not be saved. Police are now preparing a report for the coroner in relation to the circumstances surrounding the young man's death.
A Seaford Rise man was woken by his ute being stolen this morning and colliding with garbage bins as it drove off down the street. The ute was found abandoned on Telegraph Road. Police dog Rusty located a 13, 14 and 19-year-old nearby. They've been arrested and will be charged with illegal use of a motor vehicle and theft. Anthony Albanese has recorded the highest satisfaction rating for an incoming Prime Minister. The latest news poll has Mr Albanese well ahead of opposition leader Peter Dutton as preferred PM 59 to 25. Labor lead the coalition two-party preferred 56 to 44. The Prime Minister hopes it leads to successful policy.
Our priority this term is the recognition of First Nations people in our Constitution. Our history didn't begin in 1788.
Details of the voice to Parliament will be settled after a referendum is held. Australians can expect to soon be paying more at the pub, with beer drinkers facing the biggest tax increase in 3 decades. Mia Glover has more.
From the rising cost to petrol and then lettuce, now the cost of living pressures are about to hit Australian beer. You could soon be paying up to $15 for a pint of beer at your local, with the nation's beer tax to jump by 4%. That's the biggest increase seen in around 30 years. The Brewers Association is urging the Albanese government to act and include some relief in the upcoming October budget. They say there's definitely a strong case for the relief. The government says it will of course look at it, but isn't making any commitments at this stage.
A new treatment for schizophrenia is expected to help people better manage the complex brain disorder. The injectable antipsychotic is being made available on the pharmaceutical benefits scheme. Psychiatrist Dr. Samir Ibrahim says doses only need to be given every 6 months, which will play an important role in managing the condition.
And because one of the well-known symptoms of this condition is lack of insight, whether it's partial or complete, compliance, adherence to prescribed medication becomes a real challenge for the treating team.
In the US, the death toll from severe flooding in Kentucky has risen to 26. Search and rescue teams are going door to door in the Appalachian foothills to assess the damage. Now turning to 5AA sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
And talking everything Commonwealth Games, here's Tom Wren.
Yes, thank you, Mel. Let's begin there. Australia set a new world record in the women's 4x200 metre freestyle relay at the Com Games. Ariane Titmus swam the final leg, telling 7. The win made up for the disappointment of finishing third at the Olympics.
Didn't expect that. I mean, I think we knew that the world record could kind of be in our realm, but you don't really think about those things. But we did it in 2019. It was a great feeling and a little bit bitter after the Olympics, so it's nice to come back and do it here.
Great result earlier this morning. Emma McKeown won gold in the 50-metre freestyle, while Kaylee McKeown took out the 100-metre backstroke final. The Hockeyroos, meantime, have won their second pool match at the Com Games, defeating South Africa 5-0 to remain unbeaten. In other results, Australia's gone down to England in the men's 3x3 basketball. They've still finished second in their group and will now face Kenya in the quarter-finals. Let's go to football, and there will be no South Aussie side playing finals this season. That fact confirmed on the weekend with Port Adelaide going down to Collingwood by 6 points. The Crows, though, had an encouraging 29-point win against Carlton and could yet climb out of the bottom 4. Aussie Alex de Minaur is a huge chance to claim his 6th career title after winning the first set of his Atlanta Open final against American Jensen Brooksby 6-3. It's currently on serve in the second set. To golf, and after being long regarded as a perennial contender but someone who rarely wins, American Tony Finau has just won the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit by a whopping 5 shots to make it 2 wins in as many weeks.
The floodgates are open for Tony Finau as he goes back-to-back on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, great result audio there thanks to Fox. Cam Davis, the best of the Aussies, 11 shots behind. And England has won the Women's Soccer Euro event after a 2-1 extra-time win against Germany. That match played in front of more than 87,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. And that's the 5AA sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
In Stirling, heavy fog continues in the freeway downtrack near the Crayfish ramp. Speed's been reduced above the tunnels there. Roadworks at the intersection of McGill Road and St Bernard's Road in McGill, and Port Road inbound delays at Cheltenham Parade with the speed at 40 in Woodville. Cameras Andrew Smith Drive, Parafield Gardens, Edinburgh Road in Edinburgh. A little bit of help brought to you by NRMA Insurance, who are proud to be helping right across South Australia as part of the same family as SGIC. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
3 out of 4 people never hear back from interviews. Shouldn't people matter more than that? Zoom Recruitment.
15 is the forecast top today with a possible shower. Showers increasing tomorrow 16. Wednesday showers but a top of 19. Right now it's 8 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The first ever recording of a black hole. Special, isn't it? To discover the universe isn't silent, but vibrating with energy, stars, you, me, and 1,000 thread count sheet sets for only $119. Made with 100% cotton, hotel quality, queen size, and only at Aldi's Special Buys Bedroom Refresh Sale. It's special you can buy this Wednesday while stocks last at Aldi. Good, different.
Now, when I think of winter, I think of hearty meals that fill the belly and warm the soul.
Absolutely, Will. That's quite poetic. And you're right. Pasta, soups, maybe a bit of the old beef bourguignon. Nice traditional French stew. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's good stuff. When you cook, you want to cook with the best ingredients. I know I'm not telling you anything new about that, but you might not be familiar with this. One ingredient you don't want to cook with is trihalomethanes.
Now, you're probably wondering what they are. Well, trihalomethanes are just one of the nasty things that PureTap filters take out of water, leaving you with the best, most beautiful tasting water.
I reckon you could get something out of trihalomethanes.
No, I've tried. You can't.
What did Lennon say? I'm an artist. Give me a tuber and I'll get you something out of it.
That's right.
I reckon you could get something out of trihalomethanes.
You can't. That's why I got a PureTap instead.
Well, the good news is this. You can get a PureTap from only $49 up front. That's dead set good value.
No argument from me. Get a PureTap from only $49. It includes a designer tap, installation and filters for 2 years on a great payment plan.
Drink beautiful water and cook with beautiful tasting water. Call PureTap on 133 502 or go to puretap.com.au. T's and C's apply.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Credit Union SA Bonus Savings Account. Open your account and you could be rewarded with bonus monthly interest. Consider the T's and C's.
9 minutes after 8. If you're watching along on the 5AA Facebook or YouTube live stream, thanks to Credit Union SA, you'll note I'm struggling to juggle the responsibilities of parenting and hosting the 5AA breakfast program this morning.
It's what they call work-life balance, Will.
Exactly right.
Get used to it. You got all this ahead of you.
It's a pipe. Do you think, will I be able to bring my newborn child into the studio for the show? Will you?
I've brought mine in a couple of times. Not newborns.
Not newborn.
But toddlers.
Yeah, toddlers.
Yeah,
okay.
There's been a few times.
Something for you to get used to.
Yeah, and some of the older kids too. A few mornings have had like early sport commitments and things like that.
That's
They've sat
true.
out in the production booth for an hour.
Geez, it might start getting pretty crowded out there, mightn't it?
Kids everywhere.
Kids everywhere. We have to start a craze here. The
Getting
reason,
some very
of course,
unhelpful parenting advice too. I like Tyson says a bit of brandy in the bottle helps for a good night's sleep. We might just
is that for me or Annabelle?
I like this one from Pete as well. He said that the good people at a Kid Safe SA are prepared to give you a baby capsule so you can safely get little Annabelle home.
I've got a capsule in the car because we bought a capsule yesterday. The question is it installed?
Get it put in properly.
Oh, yeah.
Go to like Red Cross on Henley Beach Road or Kid
No,
Safe.
I wasn't suggesting for my actual child I wouldn't have it installed properly.
No.
A few people have sent through horrifying images of Annabelle from The Conjuring, which is not helping my anxiety at this point, now that I've shared my fear of animated dolls.
I think that's why Lucy did name the baby Annabelle.
Yeah, this is really helping.
Just make this even more alarming.
Thank you, Andrew, for that text on the Automasters text line. Here's where we're at. We're at $1,460 for Catherine House at the Hutt Street Centre. We need $540 more for me to take the baby home for 24 hours for a crash course in parenting. In fact, I think it's 490 more now because Sharon, I just see, has put in $50. Good on you, Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon.
You absolute legend. That's all going to help out Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre tremendously. So 5AAundydrive.com.au is the place to go, and you can put money in to help out these terrific charities or torment people on 5AA because the Challenge Bowl, as we noted earlier, is full of envelopes. We'll come out a little bit later. Let's go breaking it up.
I don't think I'll be getting out of this unscathed either. Just having a bit of a sneaky peek at some of those challenges. Hey, this is my favourite story of the year so far, and I can't imagine any story is going to pip it. We've done quite a bit of work on what's known as the Clash of the Centurions. This is the battle between Adelaide's own Henry Young, who's a very young 98 years old, and his Ukrainian doppelganger, the equally tennis-mad Ukrainian chap, Leonard Stanislavski. Now, this idea, this completely madcap idea, where Henry found out that Leonard is listed as the world's oldest tennis player, except for the small fact that he's actually 6 months younger than Henry. Henry pips him by I think 5 months to be precise. So the two of them have come up and reached an agreement now, and it arose from the challenge that Henry laid down. Rather than knocking him off his perch as the holder of the Guinness record, they're trying to stage a charity match with all funds being donated to victims of the war in Ukraine, where Leonard was living. He refused to leave when the Russian attacks on Ukraine started back in February. And it was only after his daughter, who lives in Poland, went mad and said, "Dad, you got to get out of there." They finally convinced him to leave. But he was on his own, living in this little apartment that was being bombed in Kharkiv for weeks. it's now got to the point where there are two different proposals, both of which could actually end up happening for the charity game to be held. The first is at the Laver Cup in London in September of this year, but the big one, and this looks like it's going to be the most likely, is the Australian Open.
Wow.
There's talks underway with Tennis Australia. It's got to the point where they're now looking for corporate sponsorship. So any corporates who are interested in this and want to get involved, get in touch with me here through on air at 5AA.com.au. But they're at the point now where they're trying to generate corporate sponsorship for this event. There's even talk of getting Roger Federer involved, because Leonard he's played a set against Rafael Nadal in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he did quite well against him too. Rafa wasn't really on his, didn't bring his A game.
Wasn't
that
on
day.
clay.
No, that's right, it wasn't on clay, exactly. So this idea, it's really proving the old maxim. It sounds crazy, but it just might work.
Oh, I hope it happens. It has to happen.
It'll be brilliant.
Yeah, it'll be sensational.
I would go to Melbourne to watch that. It'd be so. I've never been to the Australian Open. It'd be a
televised.
great thing to do.
It would appear on. There was no trouble getting a sponsor because it'll appear on every TV news service around the world.
Oh, for sure. It'd go nuts.
You'd go absolutely bonkers.
Michelle on the Facebook live stream says, "Hey, Will, maybe it's time to get Grandma over."
Well, Grandma, Bupcha, my mother, is currently too busy protesting her innocence about me watching Chucky. She says she had nothing to do with it. She's dobbed in her friend, and she wanted that to be made clear to everybody listening.
Isn't
she
it
was
funny?
not.
Because this has happened with me and my mum. Things that are said in jest on air can really upset your mother.
Oh, yes, happens a lot. I don't usually walk back my statements, but she's right. She wasn't a party to this one. She just had to deal with the fallout of a traumatised 6-year-old. Okay, let's talk about some of the other stories that are knocking around this morning. One of those that's going to be an ongoing one, I suspect, is the state of gas supply in Australia. The ACCC have warned the southern states, and yes, that means us, face a shortfall of 54 petajoules as of next year. It's nearly 10 times worse than what was forecast for 2022 at the equivalent time last year. So when you've previously heard about there potentially being a shortfall, this is now 10 times worse. Speaking a little bit earlier to our interstate friends on 2GB, Bruce Robertson's an expert in gas at the Institute of Energy Economics and Financial Analysis. Here's what he had to say.
What they do is they just keep the market a little bit starved of gas. This is an intentional tactic by the industry. What they do is continually starve various markets of gas and force the price up for domestic consumers for Australian gas.
That's what we're also accusing Putin of doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're just facing it at home in the absence of any sort of geopolitical
I just don't understand how we can have all of these supply issues when we're just groaning under the weight of natural resources.
We are an energy production superpower. It is ludicrous that we're in this state of affairs. The Cole Chalmers discussion is something that we had a little bit earlier. We got some great input on from listeners on the Automasters text line as well. He's come out firing over the course of the weekend at the media for not asking him a single question about his gold in the 4x100 metre freestyle relay. He was pressed about questions of a rift in the Australian swimming team. 3AW this morning spoke with sports psychologist Gavin Freeman, who said Cole Chalmers is under immense pressure at these Commonwealth Games.
When things are put out there, and particularly into the media and social media as well, it can become very challenging. And in this current day and age, where if you think back 20 years ago, the reaction and the ability to respond to stuff was very different to what it is now. And everybody has an opportunity. So for athletes, it's quite challenging as to whether they read this sort of stuff. And if they are going to read it, then they really need to have strategies in place in how to deal with the information that they get that's either not true, that they don't like, or that maybe they didn't even want to get out there into the media. Maybe somebody's leaked something as well. So there are some additional challenges that require a significant different type of mental toughness than the normal mental toughness required to just hit the pool and swim fast.
See, I whenever you hear an athlete say, "I just block that out, I don't read it," there's no way that can be true. Because have you ever received that spam email when friends get like things like their Facebook account hacked?
Yes.
There's the form of words that says, "You're not going to believe what these people are saying about you," and then there's a link. Now, I reckon that would be one of the most successful forms of entrapment, because human nature being what it is, it doesn't matter if you're, Darren from accounts or a gold medal athlete. you'll look at that and you go, well, what are they saying about me? So I just think the media's just got to lay off this bloke. However spectacular the headlines were and the angles were when this story first emerged, we all know what's happened. Let's just leave it and let the guy...
He's not a criminal.
No, exactly. He's not. He didn't get to the Commonwealth Games by breaking the law. He got there by, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day of his life since he was probably 7 years old. So let's just lay off because the media is going to give itself a black eye over this if they keep pushing too hard.
All right, let's have a look at the fuel situation this morning. Find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free My RAA app from your app store today. The BP Churchill Road Kilburn. How about this, David? This will excite you. $1.49.9.
Wow.
How about that? Sub $1.50 prices.
I thought I was doing all right at Cumberland Park on Saturday. I filled up $1.66. That was pretty good.
It's probably solid for Saturday, but Monday morning things are a lot better than that. The United Grand Junction Road Rosewater, $1.52.9. The Ampol Hub Drive at Aberfoyle Park, $1.49.9. So you can get it a couple of places under $1.50 today. The cheapest diesel will come down a significant amount too. The United Phillip Highway, Elizabeth South, $1.99.9. First time I remember diesel below $2 a litre in a long, long time as well.
About time.
All right, let's check traffic until your new BMW arrives. Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
G'day, we're getting reports of thick fog still up there above the tunnels on the freeway down track near Stirling with speed reduced to help out. Southern Expressway looking fine. You won't have a drama either through Wingfield on the north-south motorway. A little bit tight through Fitzroy Terrace outbound getting out of North Adelaide as you make up towards Main North Road. GWM Havel and Jolion are smart SUVs with advanced tech and intelligent safety. Backed by a 7-year warranty and 5 years roadside assist. Test drive today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
I'm Richard Pascoe, Adelaide Tech Guy, talking motorisation by Country Blinds. Big outdoor spaces mean big blinds, but Country Blinds motorisation can handle them. Country spent years selecting motors that can lift loads as heavy as an adult human. Heaving on crank handles and cords is hard work, so contact Country Blinds for new motorised cafe blinds or shade blinds and take a load off. It's outdoor living made so much easier. For a free measure and quote, visit countryblinds.com.au.
Nobody likes to wait for a new car, so Wavell and Southern Mitsubishi will give you a $50 gift voucher to spend on anything you like while waiting for your new car to arrive. Take a test drive at Wavell and Southern Mitsubishi, driven by Australian Motors. T's and C's apply.
Between interest rates and electricity prices, rent and bills are through the roof.
And look, obviously, an electricity bill, it's enough to put anyone on edge. But good news for renters, if you're feeling the pinch, EcoVantage might be able to help.
If your rent is below $400 per week, your home might qualify for a free EcoVantage heat pump changeover thanks to federal and state government incentives.
Now, look, hot water can chew up about 40% of your power bill, but a heat pump can bring that right down. They're up to 80% more efficient than traditional hot water systems.
So if you ask your landlord to request an EcoVantage heat pump upgrade, it means you get to save hundreds on your power bills and your landlord gets a free hot water service. It's win-win.
That's right. So chat to your landlord or your agent and ask for EcoVantage today. Visit ecovantage.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Silence. It's uncomfortable. We start to think. We start to wonder if something's wrong. If we're wrong. In silence, there's doubt. And it's silence that 3 out of 4 job seekers hear after applying for a job. People should matter more than that. Zoom Recruitment. Make people matter.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide, for Adelaide. 9 News.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Whatever you're saving for, get there quicker with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Please consider the T's and C's.
22 minutes after 8. If you're watching on the live stream, I've been cradling baby Annabelle, the doll.
Doing a brilliant job too.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I need all the positive reinforcement.
It's going to be easy. Piece of cake.
Well, we'll find out if we donate an extra $500 for the Yundy Drive, Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre before the end of the program. We get to another $500 and I've got to take Annabelle home for 24 hours and film the shenanigans.
Come on, $500. How hard can it be? Dig deep, SA.
What do you do with them all day?
Well, from memory, and I'm not even pretending that I did the lion's share of this, but a newborn baby generally needs its nappy changed 6 to 8 times a day.
Right.
Did you know that little stat?
Right, and you use the
6
hose,
to 8 times.
take them outside, and
That's right. Yeah, you got to put it on the shower setting. Yeah.
what about the high power?
Like when you're cleaning the driveway.
Right. I'm writing
No,
this down.
generally you use the baby wipes and the nappy bags.
Okay.
And you just do it over and
But
over
if you're in a
and
rush,
over and over again.
the garden hose is an option.
Oh, no, when you're in a rush, it's axiomatic. If you're about to get in the car, it's like, hang on a minute. Oh, dear. Yep, all right, in we go.
We started the program this morning talking about the increase to the tax on alcohol. It is a biannual indexation that takes place. It's gone up 4%, being described by the Brewers Association of Australia as the biggest increase in over 30 years. Headlined, I think, by our next guest suggesting that the pint at the pub might hit $15, which is extraordinary. John Preston, the CEO of the Brewers Association, joins us. Surely not, John?
Hey, David. Hey, Will. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's right. We're staring down the barrel of $15 a pint in pubs, and that's for a regular beer. So, that's what we're looking at.
So, John, how did it get to this? Because we were saying earlier, there's no huge sort of economic driver of this. It's not like every single aspect of beer production has suddenly increased by the same level as this proposed price increase. So what is it that's driving, what is it that is sort of motivating this price increase?
This is the tax increase. I think, look, this is an increase, as you say, it takes place twice a year, and, it's done that for years and years and years. And I think, apart from your regulars at the pub who'd notice once every 6 months when the price of their beer went up a little bit, people wouldn't notice. It's not, a government decision that gets announced with a lot of fanfare twice a year. It's just something that happens. So I think, towards the end of last year, we started calling it out and saying, look, this is making it really difficult for beer drinkers and for pubs and clubs who are trying to deal with COVID. And we felt it was time for the government to step in and do something about it.
But it just seems like a sort of mandated tax grab. I mean, the fact that it's going up by 4%, and which is going to be the biggest jump in over 30 years. What's your call to the government? Is it to stop this sort of automatic indexation where the price just goes up regardless of what the economic sort of inputs are?
Yeah, so we thought there was a really good opportunity at the last federal budget under the previous coalition government to cut the draft beer tax. So to cut the tax that applied to beer served through the tap in pubs and clubs. Principally as a way to give them a bit of a break, because after lockdowns. So we made that case strongly to the previous government. We got a lot of support. We had 25 coalition MPs write to the government and ask for that. We thought they were going to do it. There was a lot of media running up to the last budget that said they were going to do it, and then they left it out, which we were really disappointed about, and a lot of pub and club owners and operators were really disappointed about. So, absolutely. I think there's definitely some specific targeted things that the government can do to just give a bit of relief to beer drinkers and to the hospitality industry.
Yeah, well said. Good on you, John. John Preston, the CEO of the Australian Brewers Association. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me on.
Unbelievable.
It'll add up quickly because it's applied not just to the keg price, but of course too if you're buying a carton. It's a significant increase over the course of 52 weeks over a year.
This is something that's got a long political history in Australia too. I remember there was a huge campaign when the GST was brought in about the impact that was going to have on beer prices, and John Howard at the time ended up listening to the concerns of people in the hotel industry about that. But yeah, I just think it's, after what the pubs have been through for the last 2 years, there's a huge argument for just saying we're not going to apply it this time.
Rob on the Automasters text line. This is helpful, Rob. Thank you. He says parenting tip number 23: always butter their bread, as it makes it easier to slide under the door when you're feeding them. So that's good. Thank you, Rob.
I think my key takeout from a lot of the messages we're getting would be just do the opposite of what everybody's telling you to do, and you should be right.
Any reminder for how do you remember where the key for the cage is?
Yeah,
It's a terrible thing to lose track of.
No, look, you're selling yourself short. You look like an absolute natural over there, baby Annabelle.
Well, let's get a status update from out in the nerve centre out there. How far away from $2,000 how much more do we need to get there and make this official that Annabelle's coming home to me in my care? $100.
Is that all?
We're $100 away.
Wow. Before that last interview, we said 500.
All right, so we just need one.
Coming home with a wet sail.
We just need $100 more.
100 big ones.
5AAAndydrive.com.au. Oh, actually, which means another $100 means then the Challenge Bowl comes out again. Because the Undy Drive we can never be operating in the absence of a live challenge.
You know what, Will, to make you take that baby home, hang on. You know my credit card got hacked? So I've been using cash. I'm putting in $100 myself.
You're going to tip us over the line?
$100. I'm putting it in myself. I want Will to take baby Annabelle home.
All right, that's $2,000 raised for Catherine House in the Hutt Street Centre.
There we go.
For your entertainment, I'll be taking a lifelike baby home just to see what will happen. Don't think too hard about it.
$100 well spent.
It's a bit twisted if you drill down on it a little bit, but it's all for a good cause, okay?
$100 worth of laughs right there.
Scott from Modbury says, "Will, please don't become a Breaking at 8 headline tomorrow." That's my only goal, Scott. That's where we're setting the bar. If I can avoid being a Breaking at 8 headline, I'm going to consider it a win. A win already for Catherine House at the Hutt Street Centre, and I can see the Challenge Bowl being shuffled out in the booth at the moment. New challenge next.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And Business SA and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA, they're bringing all their experience to your business, making sure it's in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Get in touch with the experts, Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA on 8300 0000. That's 8300 0000.
Feel that chill? Winter is here, and so are high heating bills. Trade Services SA can install an air conditioner that heats and cools your home from just $599. That's a saving of more than 70% off normal price, thanks to the state government's REPS initiative, which encourages people to reduce energy. Visit tssa.com.au to see if you're eligible. That's tssa.com.au. Terms and conditions apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower 15 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Curious about SAMRI? See inside the cheese grater and meet researchers on Sunday, August 14th. Book now at samri.org.au.
There's a change to the free RAT program for concession card holders from today. The rapid antigen tests can be picked up from the same collection points which distribute kits to close contacts. Health Minister Chris Picton says they're now running the scheme.
Clearly, with the Commonwealth program ending as of yesterday, we thought it was important that the state government now step in to provide this program and asking people to go to the SA Health website for all the details and locations to pick up those free tests.
Australians could soon be paying up to $15 for a pint of beer. The country's beer tax will increase by 4%, which is the biggest jump in more than 30 years. CEO of the Brewers Association, John Preston, says a litre of beer will now be taxed $2.50 more per litre, while the tax on a carton will rise to $18.80.
It means now that we've got the fourth highest beer tax in the world in Australia. There's Japan, Norway and Finland are ahead of us. And look, I think costs are high and they're going up. And so whether you're a beer drinker or whether you're someone trying to run a pub, all of your costs are going up. And that's making it increasingly unaffordable for people to go out and, have a quick pint with their mates at the local.
The coalition is being urged to get its house in order as the Prime Minister's popularity soars. The latest news poll shows Anthony Albanese holds a voter satisfaction rating of 61%, the strongest ever result for an incoming PM in 40 years. Independent Senator Jackie Lambie says Mr Albanese is in a post-election honeymoon period.
I think they're still quite depleted at the moment, the Liberals. I still think they're feeling the hit from, being in power for 9 years. That's been really difficult for them, and they need to come out and turn this around, stop bickering on the inside. Get out there and start being the opposition. Unfortunately, you are the opposition now.
3 teenagers will face court accused of stealing a ute at Seaford Rise. Senior Constable Peter Williams says it happened in Kestrel Circuit just before 3 a.m.
An occupant reported hearing their Nissan Navara utility being stolen and colliding with garbage bins as it drove off down the street. Police quickly began searching the area, guided to a location by the victim, whose GPS tracker indicated the vehicle was on Telegraph Road. Police located the vehicle abandoned on the street and immediately set up cordons.
A 13, 14 and 19-year-old were arrested nearby. They'll face charges of illegal use of a motor vehicle and theft. 1 in 5 teenagers believe energy drinks are good for them. The research questioned almost 4,000 high school students about the high caffeine, high sugar drinks and found that boys were more likely to drink them. They're linked to headaches, stomach aches, insomnia, fatigue, irritation and hyperactivity. Improving our oral health habits is key to ensuring we're not affected by the side effects long term. Research commissioned for Dental Health Week shows most people are failing to floss, and around 1 in 4 of us hasn't seen a dentist in more than 5 years. The Australian Dental Association's Dr. Michaela Shinotto says there are a number of reasons for the decline.
For some people, they're doing it tough financially. They may have had to cut corners. That might mean fewer trips to the dentist. As well, private health insurance premiums continue to go up, but the amount of rebate that people get back from their insurer is not. So this is making treatment more costly for some.
Nichelle Nichols, known for playing Lieutenant Uhura on the original Star Trek, has passed away. She also appeared in 6 Star Trek films, an animated series and several video games. She was 89. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. It's been a fantastic morning for Aussie athletes all across the globe. So let's start with the breaking news, and that is that Alex de Minaur has just won the Atlanta Open to claim his 6th ATP career title. He just beat American Jenson Brooksby 6-3, 6-3 in the final. It's the perfect warm-up to the US Open. At the Commonwealth Games, Australia has dominated the pool, with Emma McKeown becoming the most successful Aussie ever, taking out her 11th gold in the 50-metre freestyle. Kaylee McKeown took gold in the 100-metre backstroke event, while the Aussies also won the women's 4x200-metre freestyle event in world record time. And cyclist Christina Clonan has won gold in the women's 500-metre time trial. To football, and round 20 has wrapped up with Adelaide and Port Adelaide set to recover at their respective clubs today. Wins yesterday for Gold Coast, Richmond and Essendon over North Melbourne. Well, Supercars Championship leader Shane van Gisbergen has recorded 5 straight race wins with a clean sweep at the Bend over the weekend. Meantime, defending Formula 1 champion Max Verstappen is tightening his grip on another title after winning the Hungarian Grand Prix overnight. Lewis Hamilton was 2nd, George Russell 3rd, while Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was 15th.
Takes the 28th victory of his career. Max Verstappen from 10th on the grid comes home to win the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Well, Annemiek van Vleuten has won the Tour de France Femme, taking 2 of the 8 stages. The Dutch woman had 6 bike changes across the race, paying tribute to the crowds that lined the course.
The public made it even more special, and all the followers on the television, so thank you so much.
Audio there thanks to SBS. And Aussie Jess Fox has picked up 2 medals at the Canoe Slalom World Championship in Augsburg, Germany. She's won gold in the Extreme Slalom and silver in the C1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
G'day, that thick fog still about on the freeway near the tunnels, affecting the downtrack mostly. The speed's been reduced as a result to help out. Southern Expressway a little bit tight at the exits for Bedford Park. A little bit busy as well coming in for Main North Road as you approach O'Connell Street in North Adelaide. This week, Brekky's better at Hungry Jack's with $5 Brekky meal deals. $5 Brekky deals are only available on the app at participating Hungry Jack's before 11 a.m. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
3 out of 4 people never hear back from interviews. Shouldn't people matter more than that? Zoom Recruitment.
A possible shower, 15 today. Showers increasing tomorrow, 16 and 19 on Wednesday. Right now, it's 8 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I became homeless due to a domestic violence situation. I was in tears. I was very depressed. I was lost, very much lost. I felt hopeless. I basically didn't want to live. It's actually taken me 2 years to pick up the pieces and to have more confidence in myself and to get on with my life. So I give back to the community because Hutt Street gave so much to me. Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'm asking you to get involved in Hutt Street Walk a Mile in my boots.
Show your support for people like Lisa and join the Walk a Mile in My Boots Challenge. Hutt Street Centre wants to reach a collective goal of walking 60,000 miles in support of the 6,000 people experiencing homelessness in SA. Walk a mile or more between the 8th and 13th of August. Register at walkamile.org.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Whatever you're saving for, get there quicker with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Please consider the T's and C's.
22 minutes to 9. The host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koch, coming up shortly. We'll go behind closed doors also. Now, there's been a lot of commotion out in the booth as we get 20 minutes to go on the first day of the Undie Drive here on Breakfast, because I understand there's been a flurry of donations that have been coming in via that website, 5AAUndiedrive.com.au. Lucy's got all the info. What's happening, Luce?
In exciting news, Naomi Will came to the party. She's so desperate for you to take little Annabelle home. Naomi has chipped in $2,000.
Oh, boy. She'd already donated.
For the Undie Drive.
She's gone again.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Total 2,000 this morning for Naomi. She's just so incredibly excited to get little Annabelle to head home. Now that does mean that we're currently sitting on, plus your $100, Dave, about $3,800. We've had lots of $20, $50 donations. Thank you, everyone who is donating. We will take it all for the Hutt Street Centre and Catherine House. But it means that we can't. Will's taking the baby home, but we now need to have a new challenge.
We need a live challenge at every time.
Yes.
So
surely it's Rowy's turn.
$3,800.
Well, luckily, I've brought in the challenge bowl.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Okay, give him a shuffle, Luce, and we'll see who's next to be tormented.
So Will's the opener.
So how much money do we need for this challenge to be achieved, to be accepted? We're at $3,800 for Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre at the moment.
Yeah, now this challenge will take place tomorrow. So I reckon over the next 24 hours, if we can get up to, let's say, $6,000.
All right.
$2,200 in 24 hours.
We're going to hit $6,000.
We want this challenge to take place. By this time tomorrow, we want to hit the 6.
All right, this challenge is for David.
Excellent.
I'm not
David.
saying anything about the 1978 grand final. We've been through that.
Oh no,
we did that one last year.
This is some more of your other words coming back to haunt you. This one.
Oh no.
It says, David, you've said you'll swim in any temperature.
Not any temperature.
Head
to Henley Beach Jetty and go into the water tomorrow morning on the program.
Can I?
You have repeatedly said...
I'm not jumping off the jetty, am I?
No, you don't have to jump off the jetty. You just need to go down to the vicinity of the jetty and swim in the water.
I'm just opening the bomb app. Now,
this is great, because you
the
have
forecast
said...
tomorrow, the minimum 7.
Yeah.
It's going to be 7 with a 25% chance of 7 mils rain.
You have boasted about your prowess swimming in cold water before.
And also, on top of that, marine wind warning for South Australia for the period until midnight Tuesday, August the 2nd. Gale warning for the following areas, the lower west... Oh, there's not a gale warning. Oh, no. Strong wind warning for the following areas, Adelaide Metropolitan. It's going to be 7 degrees and there's a marine wind warning and I've got to go swimming.
There's a marine predator warning too down there as well. It's really turned out to be a bad morning for you.
Well, actually, there was not a predator, but did you see that a southern right whale turned up at Henley Beach on the weekend? Channel 7 had the exclusive.
Got in early. We knew you were going to be down there. Big fan of the program. Good morning to all the southern right whales.
Whale myself down there.
So, okay, so let's just reset this. What we need is to get to $6,000 worth of donation, and you have to swim live on the program. My belief is we can film it, and it can be on the YouTube and Facebook live stream, thanks to Credit Union SA.
How long do I have to be in the water for?
I think you just need to be submerged.
Okay, so I've got to go under.
Look, as much as we want to have fun and raise money for Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre, we don't want you to die, okay? That's sort of the parameters in which we're working. Hypothermia is not acceptable either.
Okay.
I mean, freezing.
I've never done this. I think normally about probably 18 degrees would be about the coldest I've ever done.
Well, you're not there yet. We need to raise $6,000 for Catherine House in the Hutt Street Centre.
Do I get to cover myself in Vaseline?
Just cover yourself. That's with what and how much is up to you, but please cover yourself.
Deep heat.
We want to be able to film this for the live stream.
Oh, dear.
5AAundydrive.com.au. It's FIVEAA undydrive.com.au. Get those donations going. The good news is you got 24 hours or so. Presumably you need to have time to get down to the beach as well.
So I'll be in my boardies too. Like I don't own a wetsuit. So
you're not going to use not the mankini?
No, not the mankini. No, I might wear a rashie.
Okay.
I'll wear a rashie in the boardie.
Flippers?
No, I don't need flippers. I'll be right.
Snorkel?
Maybe a snorkel. Okay. But no, looking forward to that.
There it is.
Hey, just quickly, I reckon we found the dumbest person in Australia.
Yes.
Can you believe that story about that card-carrying halfwit who went to Bali for his holiday? The last thing he did was he went to Denpasar Macca's and he bought a sausage and cheese McMuffin with meat in it in the middle of a foot and mouth disease outbreak. Anyone with half a brain would know that, setting aside the argument about some people saying, oh, why can't I bring my thongs back? But to actually buy a meat product. But beyond that, I like McDonald's. I eat at Macca's once a month. But if you want to put anybody off eating McDonald's food, show them what it looks like when it's stone cold. Like the idea that you would travel, like what is this, 6 or 7 hour flight back to Australia with a mangy, sweaty, ice-cold McMuffin stuffed in your pocket. There's no excuse for that. Yeah. It's just putrid.
It's grotesque.
Not to mention incredibly dangerous to the Australian beef industry.
Glenn and Elizabeth North's called in. Morning to you, Glenn.
Morning, guys. Just got a traffic hassle for you. South Road heading south at 7, and there's a car in front about 1 block south of the traffic lights there at the old brickworks, or the old Febby Hotel, but the traffic is banked up in the underpass at a standstill right back to Hawken Street heading south, so avoid that area completely if you want to get to work today.
That's good advice, Glenn.
Thank you. Appreciate that, mate. As always, if there's something you spot in your travels, let us know. 8223 or Automaster's text line 0448 08 1395. We'll check traffic more broadly before catching up with Koshy until your new BMW arrives. Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
Thick fog happening at the moment on the freeway down track near Stirling on the just near the tunnels there, causing some issues. Speed's been reduced down to 80 to help out. Southern Expressway a little bit busy at the exits through Bedford Park. You also find it tough going at times on Glenburn Road between Glen Corner and Firle. That's for ongoing line marking work with the speed down to 40. Enjoy exceptional savings for a limited time on the Mercedes-Benz C-Class Edition C. It's in a C-Class of its own. Shop in store or online today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Connect Hearing is the largest Australian provider of Lyric, the completely invisible hearing solution with fit-and-forget convenience that stays in your ear 24/7. Book your free 30-day Lyric trial now on 1300 520 804. T's and C's apply.
It's never too early to start planning for lawn season. Get ready for spring now with the Turf Farm. They're always trialling and testing to see what works best in SA because our dry summers and droughts can be brutal on lawns.
We spoke to the Turf Farm earlier, doing a great job as principal sponsors of the Undie Drive. And look, on the lawn front, some exciting news. They found a real gem, Tiff Tuff. It's a hybrid Bermuda grass developed by the world's leading turf scientist. Tiff Tuff stands out from the rest, hard to pronounce but it's excellent grass, with superior drought tolerance, it's winter green and extreme durability.
Tiff Tuff Couch Grass is the only lawn in the world with the SMART approved watermark, the new benchmark for drought tolerance in Australia. And on the flip side, it also has an amazing 50% shade tolerance.
Now the Turf Farm team are experts in beautiful lawns and happy customers.
Call the Turf Farm on 8577 8826 or visit theturffarm.com.au. The lawn you'll love.
Saving for one of these? Maybe this. Then you're going to need one of these. Sorry, we didn't have a sound effect for a Credit Union SA bonus savings account, but we can give you up to 2.5% per annum interest each month you make a deposit of any amount with no withdrawals. 2.5%. What a bonus. Save your way with a Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Consider the terms and conditions before applying. Interest rates are subject to change.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Credit Union SA bonus savings account. Open your account and you could be rewarded with bonus monthly interest. Consider the T's and C's.
12 to 9 behind closed doors coming up in just a moment. Looking for about $2,200 for the undie drive. So David has to go kerplunk at Henley Beach tomorrow morning during the program.
Just working on my stroke. Not sure what I'll do. Whether I'll do, just your traditional freestyle. I've always been more of a fan of the old elementary backstroke. I like that one.
You reckon in temperatures it'll be about -2, you'll be casually backstroking around, do you?
No, I think I'll be thrashing around like an idiot.
Yeah, I think there'd be the frozen man stroke. Blind panic might be the stroke that you end up looking for.
It'll be warmer in the water than out, I reckon.
That's true. Either way, we're all going to get to watch and find out. It'll be a live experiment playing out in the radio. As long as we get that extra $2,200 for Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre, undie drive, 5AAundieDrive.com.au. Let's catch up with the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh. Morning to you, Koshy.
Morning, gents.
Hey, Koshy, you think, what's these Collingwood curmudgeons have again stopped you guys wearing the prison bars jumper in the showdown, haven't they?
Yes, they have. It is really disappointing. I think a bit disrespectful to our history and disrespectful to our members as well. You look at virtually every AFL club being allowed to play in a heritage Guernsey this year, a retro Guernsey, celebrating it, and we're not allowed to do the same. But we've done exactly the right thing. We've been very respectful to the Collingwood Football Club. We put our request in back in March, and for them to come out at the end of last week and say they're still considering it, don't have enough time to make a decision, so no, you can't wear it in the showdown in round 23, which is only 3 weeks ago.
But just on that, Koshy, didn't the CEO of Collingwood, Mark Anderson, make the point? Well, he said in March he told you guys that he was going to say no.
That is the greatest load of rot that I've ever heard. He absolutely did not. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, the Collingwood president, Jeff Brown, rang me out of the blue and said, Koshy, look, mate, we're taking your request really seriously. We understand how important it is to your members. We understand the history of it. I've been canvassing opinions both in Melbourne and also South Australia. And I'm putting it to my board next week, which was last week, and I don't want to get your hopes up, but I'm quietly confident we could have good news for you. So that was just 2 weeks ago. The president of the Collingwood Football Club rang me out of the blue and told me this. So for the tripe that came out last week, and remember, Collingwood have always said, we own black and white in the AFL, VFL. They're our colours, as if you can own two colours. Don't get me started on that. But on the weekend, the Collingwood VFL side played the Southport Sharks in the VFL who are black and white.
Yeah.
So why can't we play in our traditional prison bar Guernsey showdowns in Adelaide? That's all. Not against Collingwood, not for the rest of the year. I don't think it's unreasonable, and I can't help but feel that we've been played in this for being nice and a bit misled by the club and also conversations I've had with the president.
Do you think the former president, Eddie Maguire, is still playing a role in all this, Koshy? Because I saw he made some comments about it recently.
Yeah. Eddie's the one that said we own black and white. Well, how come they've allowed the Southport Sharks to play in black and white in the VFL against Collingwood. It just shows, dare I say, the pettiness of this, which has got completely out of hand. I don't know whether it's a case of the big Victorian clubs once again going, hey, you just keep in your place. You interstaters, South Australian clubs, we run this competition. You do as we say. Yes, an agreement was signed when we came into the AFL. That's 30 years ago. Times have changed. Clubs are celebrating their heritage. In fact, the agreement says we can play in the prison bar during heritage rounds, official AFL heritage rounds. At the moment, each club is declaring their own heritage round and heritage game. And why can't we declare a showdown as celebrating our heritage? I'm fuming because we have done the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've just quietly gone about it, and I can't help, as I say, feel as though that good nature has been played.
Hey, Koshy, just quickly, overwhelmingly, people in this country, as in most other countries, regard sport as nothing more than a joyful release from day to day. But there's some people who sort of seem mentally ill-equipped to cope with sport. You see it with the sort of racial abuse that we saw over the weekend from a Crows supporter. We've seen it with some of the vilification of umpires, and we've seen it too with sort of the full-blown hounding of players and coaches, most notably last week, your coach, Ken Hinkley, with the Sack Hinkley sign that was put up. How's he coping with all of that?
Look, Ken's taken it personally, as you would. I would. Anybody would. And I thought he was incredibly classy in his response last week, saying he loves the passion of Port Adelaide members. He loves the passion of our supporters. They're educated, but there's a small, tiny minority that just cross the line in terms of respect more than anything. And hey, we have underperformed this year to our expectation. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And I'm not going to give excuses. There are reasons for it, and will be, as we do at the end of every season, assess our entire football program, because it's a football program issue. It's not any one individual. It's a program issue, and we will be assessing and making changes at the end of the year. But to target people personally, I just think is incredibly disrespectful, and doesn't sit well with the values that I have personally, and I think the club has as a collective.
No, well said. David Koch, always great to catch up with you, mate. Koshy from Sunrise on 7. We'll talk to you again next week.
4 minutes to 9. It's time to go behind closed doors, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
And when we get behind
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Andrew Brymer.
And welcome along to Overnight Interactive AM Talkback on your dial. Andrew Reimer with you, and a lot of SMSs coming in as they should on 0488 3095. And I like to read all of them out. I do believe that if we ask you to SMSs, that we should be reading them out for the integrity of the show, whether it's a criticism or a bouquet. I try to read them all, even though it seems I get more bouquets than criticisms. This one's from John. Hi, Andrew. Love your show. It's great to have you on the radio, making sense and entertaining everybody with your unique style and sense of humour. And I love your soothing voice, and I bet your skin is like velvet. Thank you very much for that, John. That's very much appreciated. There is an argument for leaving that part of the SMS out and getting to the real subject matter that John wanted to discuss, which was something about the way the government's handling the health crisis in South Australia. But I do like to receive your SMSs. And, of course, our purpose for being here is to make you feel good and entertain you, so don't be afraid to join in. Hello, David.
Oh, g'day, Andrew. Geez, I tell you what, the way the world's going, there's no doubt we're heading for another war.
Yep, you might be right there.
The stuff that's going on in South China Sea and Taiwan and all that.
Yep, not good. Not good at all. Thanks for your call there. Hello, Judith.
Oh, hello, Andrew. Isn't it scary with the economy at the moment?
Oh, yep, not good.
Won't be long before we won't be able to afford to eat.
Yep, I know where you're coming from.
Interest rates are going up.
Yep.
Inflation's going up.
Yep.
People can't find anywhere to live.
Yep.
Some of them living in their cars and in tents.
Yep.
The way I see it, the place is stuffed.
Yep, it's a pretty bleak outlook, isn't it?
It sure is, Andrew.
Well, thanks for your call.
Great, Andrew. Thank you. I love listening to your show.
Thank you, Judith. Very much appreciated. And let's face it, that's why we're here, to make you happy.
No, I have to apologise.
The baby won't shut up.
I can't work out if it's in distress. It started breathing like Darth Vader for a second.
Right.
And for someone, as I've mentioned,
your father,
with a childhood phobia of dolls, this is deeply distressing. I think it's
bonding with you.
Annabelle's speaking in tongues.
Yeah, she is.
think. I mean, is this a ritual or is this just goo goo gaga?
Like De Niro at the end of Cape Fear.
Well, wish me luck for the next 24 hours.
Thanks to be some of the most terrifying video you've ever seen coming from inside a house in Grange.
If you hear crying in Grange, it won't be the baby. 5AAOnlydrive.com.au. Keep donating. We need a couple more grand to get David in the drink tomorrow morning for Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre. Leon Biner's next, and we'll catch you then.
With fuel prices the way they are, it's now more important than ever for your car to be fuel efficient. Peak performance means peak efficiency, and that